It's the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
It's Championship Sunday. There's the takeoff there on the St. Lawrence River. Here's the deal. Every time we come to the St. Lawrence, the results are extraordinary. You can count on that. You fold in this time around access to Lake Ontario, and you get results that are eye-popping, that are jaw-dropping, especially at the top of this top-heavy leaderboard we have on Championship Sunday. Welcome to Bassmaster Live. We're down to 10 anglers this time around. And man, it is going to be a different sort of day today. These two guys, Mark Zona, the two guys at the top, Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston, have been exemplary. But sometimes Mother Nature throws up her own protections, and she may be doing it on Lake Ontario.
Exactly right. We're going to see what Lake Ontario really has in store for our anglers. Taking a look at our Humminbird lay of the lake. The northeastern basin, really access to all of our anglers throughout Lake Ontario, but you have to stay on the New York, the U.S. side of Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. About 100 miles of playing field in the St. Lawrence River.
Okay, the St. Lawrence River may not, but will play a part that's different this time around. We know that. It's been a player during the week.
How long have you been doing this?
Camera work?
Yeah.
My first event.
Okay, there's Corey Johnston, one of our top 10 today.
Three. Hold on.
What's your name?
All right. That's the scene. The takeoff just completed moments ago, and we're getting ready. We're coming to you early today. We're getting after it very, very.
Oh, I could tell that right now. Exactly right, Tommy Sanders.
I think today holds all the promise in the world, especially for the top two guys, Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston.
Exactly, and really it's been a dominant tournament for the guys that have gone into the lake. 5 out of our 6 anglers in the top 10 have done most of their damage in Lake Ontario. We talked about it the very first morning of competition. What would Lake Ontario offer these anglers? And here's what it's done. It's shown up like every single time that we have come to a tournament where you can get into Lake Ontario, more than likely your leaders will come from there.
Certainly has been the case so far, and those two leaders have kind of separated themselves from the field, Mueller and Johnston. Then we drop down to Chad Morgan-Taylor, who is 6 pounds back, or more like 7 pounds back. Clark Wendland, same story, and the rest of the field down to 14 pounds at the bottom of our top 10. So a comeback from 10th place is improbable, probably impossible today. But still, things are going to change. There's going to be a different dynamic at work during the course of this day.
Exactly. You see a lot of our anglers preparing, getting their rain suits on. It is very sunny there, but they are going to get wet on their way out to a lot of their haunts that they've been on all week long.
We'll be picking up with them very shortly. Right now, let's take Dave Mercer's standing by.
It's all down to this. Only 10 remain, and what a historic day we have ahead of us. Our leader, just 23 pounds and an ounce away from history, becoming the first ever angler to get a century belt. That's 100 pounds of bass in a 4-day tournament. A century belt with smallmouth bass, and Mueller's only 23 pounds and an ounce away from it, which would be his smallest bag of the tournament. But there's also history right behind him. Chris Johnston, already the first Canadian to win an FLW Tour event, trying to become the first Canadian to ever win an Elite Series event. He was a bridesmaid here last year. Today is going to be a throwdown, a showdown, a big fish mowdown, and it couldn't happen anywhere better than ESPN2.
Our own Dave Mercer there, sort of sizing it up for us today, talking about the importance of this day for the leader, Paul Mueller. We're going to take you right down to where we're coming to you from this morning, from actually Little Rock, Arkansas. That is the location for the Bassmaster Studios, and we are getting ready for a day's worth of coverage on this Championship Sunday. Welcome to each and every one of you. I'm Tommy Sanders here with Mark Zona and Paul Mueller. Yeah, a momentous day. He could rewrite a lot of the history books today.
You know, he really could, and Paul Mueller is really concentrated on one general area of Lake Ontario where you see guys like Chris Johnston, who's been on his tail all week long, a lot more knowledge of Lake Ontario. The problem today, those two guys have made it look easy. With the weather that's been thrown at them the first 3 days of competition, they've done damage by really 12 o'clock and got to manage a lot of their fishing areas. Today, it's going to be a lot harder for both of those anglers just to get around.
Another way that they've separated themselves from the rest of the field is just absolutely almost flawless execution, sometimes almost supernaturally good execution. It's going to be harder to do that with all these added distractions the weather's going to throw at us today.
We actually talked about that a little bit yesterday. These guys are using very, very light line. The water's clear. The fish are very finicky. And when you add in potentially 3 to 5 foot waves and you're battling a 4 to 5 pound smallmouth, that's a hot mess is what that is right there.
It is going to be a visually exciting and possibly drama-filled day for us today, and we can't wait to get going all the way to weigh-in time at 3 p.m. Hey, with us today we have our great crew in place there, including the Such, Mike Sukan. What's on the top of the horizon for you today?
I'm on the Century Belt Watch with Paul Mueller being 23 pounds, 1 ounce away. In second place, Chris Johnston's only 25 pounds, 4 ounces away. And he's done that this week with his day one bag at 27 pounds.
All right.
So it could happen twice today.
Could happen twice today. We're going to be leaning on our technology today. Of course, in charge of all of that is Ronnie Moore and the Screen of Knowledge. Guys, what are you going to show us right off the bat?
Well, we wanted to talk about it. Wind is going to be a factor today, and we wanted to show you what it's looking like from takeoff this morning, that 6 o'clock time frame, Eastern time, to what it's going to go up to. And that's where we're starting at. Light blue is not too bad. It's getting in that 8 to 10 mile an hour range, but this is what it's going to change to throughout the day.
And really the problem right here, we got to talk about it yesterday, is the direction that wind is going to be coming into the St. Lawrence River, Grenadier Island, the mouth of Chameau Bay. And as the day wears on, here's the thing, these guys, it doesn't look like they're going to have that bad of a ride into the lake, but as our day wears on and it gets to 15, 25 miles per hour, it will be a complete rodeo out on Lake Ontario by about 10 or 11 o'clock, it looks like.
Pushing it at the end of the day is going to be tough for some of these guys. Getting in, making sure they've used all of their time wisely, fishing efficiently out there. That'll be the key as they make their runs back.
We have seen some heroic performances, but the star of the show, as always, when we come to this part of the country, upstate New York, is this fishery. Lake Ontario right there, and all of the St. Lawrence River, the U.S. side.
Exactly right, and we got to talk about this. Probably the biggest playing field that we will see this year, next year, probably the year after. That map makes this look a lot smaller than it is. Lake Ontario, our anglers can go anywhere on the New York side of Lake Ontario. One of our anglers in the top 10 actually tried to do that.
Yes, that's right.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. As you get into the St. Lawrence River, again, our anglers have to stay on the U.S. side of the St. Lawrence River, about 100 miles of river to pick from.
All right, well, we have seen some incredible performances, as we've already mentioned today. Take you to the weigh-in yesterday, and this is Brock Mosley, who took a different tack from the rest of the field.
Exactly right. Brock Mosley concentrating on largemouth right outside of our French Creek Marina takeoff. From there, a little bit slower. See Clark Wendelet, but Clark Wendelet, one of our anglers going into the lake.
He said yesterday, I'm going. I've done it before. It's not good. It's not fun, but I'm going to do it. There's Chris Johnston. Chris Johnston again, Paul Mueller back and forth. And, of course, as Ronnie Moore pointed out before we came on, he's been either first or second all the days he's fished here in tournament action in the Bassmaster Elite Series. Chad Morgan-Taylor, very impressed with his performance. He's got a few uncertainties about today.
He does, and we'll get into Chad Morgan-Taylor's game plan, but all eyes today from Connecticut. Paul Mueller looking for his second win this season, and this is only our third event.
Just incredible. You didn't see that much in the past. You see it a lot in the last couple of years. So Paul Mueller, a guy with a fantastic plan. He's been sticking to it. He's been agile. He's been adaptable. He has done everything you need to do in order to write history out here, and he could do it. He could hit the 100-pound mark for smallmouth for the first time in Bassmaster history.
I heard Mike Sukan talk about this last year when we were at the St. Lawrence River. We had an angler come from 10th place and win this event on Championship Sunday. Well, this time around, Brandon Polinick is, looks like about 17 pounds behind. That is a very big hole to dig out of, especially with the guys that he will be chasing today.
It'll be fun to watch all of them today, though, because they're all going to be adapting and really leaving nothing on the table today. That's the case in every Championship Sunday out here. And that makes for some great action worth following, and we will be following it all day long with you here on Bassmaster Live. Take a look back to yesterday and another great performance, another great day, 24-13 for our leader, Paul Mueller.
Exactly right. And we have a lot of our anglers right now, if you're just tuning into the broadcast, a lot of our anglers right now are running to their area. As soon as they get there, we will get out on the water. But yesterday morning, it was furious for Paul Mueller. Very, very calm. Not without issues, though.
He's in the
Paul
moment.
Mueller gets one caught up in his motor, his power pulse right there. Talked about it yesterday. If you are hand lining one in and actually land it,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
you're living
One of those
right, things are going right for you. Paul Mueller yesterday morning.
Went a little shallower yesterday. His deeper fish did not show up for him like he planned for them to.
You know, and really yesterday with Paul Mueller was a carbon copy of the first 2 days of this tournament. There is a flurry in the morning, about a 2 to 2.5 hour flurry. Then you'll see kind of a little dead spot right around 10 or 11 o'clock, and then it usually cranks up again right around lunchtime.
Barely hooked, man.
He's one at Lake Lanier with spotted bass. He's one with giant largemouth in Florida. That happened this year for Paul Mueller, the complete angler, asserting some dominance here in the third regular season event. This is Chris Johnston.
Watching Chris Johnston this week on Lake Ontario and really the mouth of the river around Carlton Island. Chris Johnston said coming into this tournament, so if you are just tuning into this tournament, that angler right there has probably more history on this body of water besides his brother that is in our top 10 today. And made a comment today. He has so many spots. He said, I'm really going to lock into one spot on Lake Ontario and just maximize my time if I'm not able to get around with the winds that are being predicted.
Yeah, we got to talk about the wind. And you think about a guy with that much experience on this body of water, how much of an advantage it gives him, having dealt with these conditions time and time again.
Growing up fishing 3 to 6 foot waves, to me, will give him and his brother the biggest advantage. Here's the thing. Every time we're here, it's like they just constantly drop 20 to 23 pounds on the scales. And I made this comment. They make it look really, really easy, a lot easier than it is to get that job done, especially with the conditions that are constantly thrown at them.
All right, we get our first look of what these guys are going to be dealing with at the mouth of the St. Lawrence River.
Okay. So it was really calm at our takeoff, and everybody said, wow, hey, it's not that bad. And I made the comment, no, it's usually pretty nice in Clayton, New York. That generally, what you're looking at, that is Cape Vincent, New York, looking at Wolf Island in Canada. And it is going to get really, really bad today. And the problem that the fish will bite, but you are going to pay the price getting to where you're fishing.
And one factor is it's not just the wind that's blowing right there by Grenadier Island or there. It doesn't have to be blowing right there, but it's blowing 100 miles away and has been all night, and it's just building to get there. So those heavy winds that we showed in Lake Ontario were farther in the center, but it pushes thousands of gallons of water that direction, millions.
Getting out with Micah Frazier right now. Micah Frazier's been running to, call it right in front of Chippewa Bay, just outside of Alexandria Bay, New York. And he has been one of the anglers that's been slow and steady and survived fishing in the river like he did last year when he won this tournament.
He's a guy who came back from 4 pounds 9 ounces last year to win. This year he's 14 pounds 11 ounces down. A little
10 pounds better than that
taller
this time.
hill. But to be in the top 10.
I'm going to hit the rewind right here. The opening of the Bassmaster television show back in the 80s would show a boat spearing a wave, nosing a wave. Do you know where that footage came from? This is no joke. Exactly where our camera was just set up at Cape Vincent, New York, where it meets Lake Ontario.
Brad Watley, who came in, made our top 10 by going down to Oswego, which is another half-hour ride. The lake said he speared waves 6 times coming in yesterday.
That was enough for him. He said that was enough for him.
It was soaked. His pants were soaked. Everything was soaked.
Yep.
What, he's not going today?
Get some more of that footage in the mouth of him.
Let's,
okay.
Oh, boy.
And here's the thing. It's not even bad yet.
It's not cooked up yet.
No. But we talked about this since really the tournament began. Every time you come to the Great Lakes, if you fish the Great Lakes, you stare at the wind forecast, and all of us were staring at this morning.
Well, explain what that does, Z. They have a what, 2, 3, 7 mile, wherever their spot's going, how much longer it takes
and
them
just
to...
hopping it down the bottom, I'm sitting in, right now I'm sitting in 43 foot of water. And I'm seeing fish down there. You know, it's just, man, they've been stingy this week. It's the stingiest I've seen the river fish. You know, if you could just as easily only catch 11 or 12 pounds a day of smallmouth, fish for them all day. And that's what's aggravating. But you could also come out here and catch, there he is. Coming up. He ain't big. Now you could just as easy come out here and catch a 4-pounder, 5-pounder. I mean, this is where I caught my 6-pounder this week. I mean, that's a 2-something, and I'm just gonna put him back. You know, I don't want to. He's better off. That's not what we're looking for. Yeah, I don't want to get stuck with him. See, it's a net bait drifter, and it looks just like a little goby. That's what it is. I got them full of a Ziploc bag, just so I'm easier. I'm not going through the packs, but that's what it is, and it looks just like a goby, and they love it here. But for whatever reason, it's been stingy.
You keep your best 5 fish for the whole day. He sent that one back because he does not want to show up to weigh in with one that small. Pretty simple.
It looks so calm there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't right there.
No, it looks terrifying.
I mean, Brock Mosley's going to have a very peaceful, enjoyable day right outside of Clayton, New York. I think it's going to be a lot more violent with our leaders.
Each one of those slams of the boat, think of that happening for 45 minutes solid, relentlessly.
Minimum 45 minutes solid.
You get some idea of the pain that's in store for some of our anglers out there today. Paul Mueller, again, taking the 2-pound-plus lead into the final day. We just saw Brock Mosley hook up and release one. We got plenty more to come. We'll be right back on Bassmaster Live.
The Sight 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champion is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need the Tacoma.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is brought to you by Power Pole, Skeeter Boats, Yamaha, and by Toyota.
First 3 days of this 4-day tournament have been extraordinary, no question about it. Today promises to be, well, a little bit wilder, a little bit crazier, and who knows what is going to happen out there today. Paul Mueller, Chris Johnston at the top of this top-heavy leaderboard. Those are the two battling it out. Paul Mueller with a chance to win his second tournament in 3 regular season events this year. That is extraordinary. Chris Johnston looking to become the first Canadian to win on the Bassmaster Elite Series. 100 pounds is in play. Boy, we have got a lot of anglers. 10 of them out there today. Each one of them got a great story, including Corey Johnston, who had the biggest limit yesterday.
Exactly right. 25 pounds yesterday. Corey Johnston actually laying up, fishing in the mouth of Lake Ontario where it meets the St. Lawrence River, and not choosing to go in the lake where he caught that giant stringer yesterday.
Little one, I think. Just on a deep ledge out here on the river. It's fairly close to the mouth. That little guy. Fished it the other day, never really caught any giants, lost one close to 4, so do just a quick drift and see what happens.
Unlike Brock Mosley, he puts that smaller one in the box right there. And
Corey probably hoping that they're biting there where he does not have to go all
I was going to ask you, what does it mean when an old hand and a not easily intimidated guy like that chooses not to go against Lake Ontario?
We'll see him get out into the lake here.
All right.
We know Corey pretty well.
Yeah.
Micah Frazier.
Sometimes, yeah.
Fishing right outside of Chippewa Bay.
There's so many fish in this river.
Micah Frazier, slow and steady. That has been his watchword every time he comes up here. And last year it resulted in a victory.
Pretty good one right
solid.
there for
that is solid.
Micah Frazier. You rewind time to last year on his final day, an enormous day on the St. Lawrence River, and what has been similar this time around is his average weight. Last year he hovered around 21 pounds the first 3 days and then blew out an enormous stringer on Championship Sunday. That's pretty much exactly what he's done this time around. The difference this time around, it's just been slower building into that 20 to 21 pound average. But we've covered, we've been with Micah the entire tournament. It's about one solid one, like we just saw him catch, about every 90 minutes.
Last year, of course, very, very different as far as the top 10 went on the final day. He only had about 4 pounds plus to make up this time. It's very, very different, as Keith pointed out. Way more than that.
He made it up 14. With a 5-pound, 13-ounce big fish of the day in his 25-pound, 9-ounce bag.
First win for Micah Frazier, 2019, the appreciative crowd at Waddington, New York.
See Micah Frazier on the right, Corey Johnston on your left. And Corey Johnston made the comment after that giant bag that he
Lake
caught.
Ontario. I was going to make the run to where I caught all those big fish yesterday, but got got out there. It's not real bad out, but I just got thinking about it, and I don't want to pound myself to death. Even if I catch 25 pounds, I can't win. So I think I'm going to play around in the river today and catch a bunch of fish, have a little bit of fun, and you know, see what we can do. Still want to try and catch some big ones. They live in this river, there's no doubt. I'm marking all kinds of them here. It's just they're hard to catch. But I mean, the tournament's been good so far. You know, first 2 days, 19 pounds, which sounds like a really good weight, but out here, you know, it really isn't. If you don't have more than 22 out here, you didn't have a good day. It's just, they live here, they're big, and there's lots of them. You just got to get on them. Marking all kinds of them here on the screen. They're just not biting. Caught one like right off the start, and probably marked 20 fish on this drift so far.
Well, making up 12 pounds is something, 12 pounds plus is not something that Corey sees as a doable thing today.
A little bit surprised Corey Johnston not going out.
He's a bulldog.
Gonna slip out a little further into the lake with his brother, sitting in second place coming into Championship Sunday, who's a little more out in the elements than his brother, Corey Johnston. Yes.
Just getting out to the mouth of the river now. Just making a quick stop, try and get a bonus one here. See if I can get one on this can. I didn't mark any, but I'm gonna stop here for a minute, then we're gonna head further out to where I ended yesterday, and they're biting, so we're probably gonna camp there most of the day. This wind's only gonna get worse.
Boat to boat right there with Chris Johnston. Chris Johnston is still really fishing basically in the mouth of Lake Ontario where it meets the St. Lawrence River. And here's the thing, the first 3 days of this tournament, beautiful weather. I mean, it was gorgeous out on the lake. It is like this. There's so many smallmouth fishermen that fish there. It is like this way more, these conditions, way more than what we got to see the first 3 days. You talk about why the fishing is so good on Lake Ontario. Generally, the fish are left alone because of this.
Corey makes no bones about it. He's going to put himself up for 8 hours of this and worse.
Not really marking them, so we're going to have to move.
Currently sitting in 6th place. Back out to Brock Mosley. He'll stay in the river today.
Brock Mosley has been largemouth fishing almost the entire tournament, but on day one he caught 2 big smallmouth. Of everything he's weighed in, it's basically been largemouth, but he had 2 big smallmouth.
The small
2 big smallmouth on day one, keeping him honest this morning.
Caught 2 small ones. I didn't want to put them in my live well. I mean, I can catch largemouth that are that size, so.
Brock Mosley, game plan much like day before yesterday. TH Marine Weather Watch time right now, and for that, we're going to our man Davey Height, who's out there in the thick of it. Davey, what? Give us a weather report from out there. Give us a wave and wind report too.
Davey's soaked.
He is.
Well, it's a little bumpy. TH Marine Weather Watch is it's absolutely Just lovely out here. I'm out here with Chris Johnston. He stopped right at the mouth of the river to just check this can. Didn't mark any fish, stayed there for just a few minutes. But, man, it's a little bumpy, but it's going to get more interesting today. You couldn't ask for it. I mean, hats off to these guys. They're so determined to try to raise that blue trophy. Somebody will this afternoon here. But it's going to be brutal out here today, no doubt about it. I think the fish are going to bite great. It's going to be a great day to watch some big smallmouth being caught. It's also going to be a great day to watch these guys, how they put up with the elements. I mean, it's so tough on them out here. To get to your fishing spot is one thing, and then to be able to fish, your trolling motor isn't in the water half the time. Spot lock doesn't work great when the trolling motor is out of the water. So it's going to be a great, great day to watch Bass Live.
Hey, Davey, real quick, number one, tell everybody at home why you're already soaking wet. And number two, the other side is it is hard on the anglers physically and holding on these very small spots. But with that being said, a lot of times the smallmouth will actually bite better on a day like this.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard the last 3 days it's been great conditions to be able to get to your fishing location and just enjoy being able to move around and graft these fish. It's not going to be that way today, but typically when the wind blows, especially that direction, it's going to speed the current up even more and the smallmouth bite better. I'll be shocked. I'm going to go on record this morning. I'll be shocked if it doesn't take 100 pounds to win. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Paul Mueller or Chris Johnston or who it might be, but I think to win today, you will have to have 100 pounds. And that's never been done before, but I think the conditions are tough. These guys aren't going to be able to fish as long as they have the last 3 days, but I really do believe these fish are going to be biting better than they have all week. That's hard to say when we've seen 27-pound stringers, a 713 caught on the first day, the biggest smallmouth ever weighed in a Bassmaster tournament. But I think the fishing will be better. Here's one other thing in a Bassmaster event. You don't use dip nets. So to be able to lip a 5, 6, 7-pound smallmouth in these 4-footers, that's going to be challenging. It's going to be fun to watch today.
The other thing, looking at a lot of our anglers going into Lake Ontario, for somebody that's and we do not advise if you don't go boating a lot, don't go in Lake Ontario today.
Not good today.
It's a lot harder going into those waves than actually coming back in.
Yeah, good point, Z. I think you've been here before. Going into the waves, you just get pounded because they're coming into you. The bad part about running back in with them, you're riding smooth, but the nose of your boat, if it goes down and you plow through some, that's when you can fill the boat up with water and have some serious issues there. But as far as the ride itself, it'll be better coming back in. What you want to be able to do is go out enough into the lake where you can turn and run the trough. But that's the problem with the southwest wind. Yesterday we had a southeast, and you could run those troughs coming back in. Those guys, we heard a lot of them yesterday at the weigh-in talk about that. But a southwest going where these guys go, it doesn't line up good for you. You have to go out into the lake. If it builds today like it's supposed to, you might have to go out into the lake 5 miles before you can turn and run the trough back into the St. Lawrence River.
Davey, great report. Thank you so much. Stay safe. I was going to say stay dry, but a little too late on that one right there. That part has already been taken care of. Look at those conditions.
Do me a favor. Look at that shot right there. You can multiply that by 3 in the next 2 to 3 hours.
Man, oh man.
I hate to say it. It adds a big dynamic to this championship Sunday.
Oh my gosh, the things these guys are having to deal with out there on the water today. We've only got 10 of them left here on Championship Sunday. Boy, it seems like a long way till we get to weigh-in time. And it is a lot between now and then, both in terms of fishing, in terms of dealing with the elements, in terms of surviving an extraordinary day on the Bassmaster Elite Series. We've got a whole lot more Bassmaster Live obviously ahead of us, and we'll take a break and be right back.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Son gets it done. Jordan Lee, back-to-back domination, unbelievable.
You're watching the Sight 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
For being with us on Bassmaster Live this morning. Again, we started an hour early. We have plenty more to come in our morning session, and we'll take a break and come back at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and take you all the way to weigh-in time. If you are a fanatic bass fishing fan, you know the significance of today. You know all the extraordinary things that are possible for these anglers and the extraordinary distractions that they are dealing with. If you never watched bass fishing before, this one, just know it's not representative of all of our tournaments, but it is something. If you like to see this hurricane coverage where the reporters are being tossed around like beach umbrellas, this might be right up your alley.
Well, we made the comment yesterday, there's a reason why most of the trees are angled in a certain direction here, even when it's not blowing, can actually get up in the river. An angler that made a long run the first 3 days of this tournament way into Lake Ontario, Brad Watley, with a few issues earlier this morning.
Brad, can you talk to us about what's going on this morning?
Yeah, so I've been fishing on the lake all week, and I can't make that run today. I've got a glory hole there. No doubt if I could just get an hour on it, I could easily catch 20 to 24 pounds off of it, but I can't go to it, so we're out here on the river today, and I'm just pulled up on my first spot, try to stop and fish on the river, and I've got some trolling motor issues, so just kind of dead in the water right now. I called Trip. My roommate Lee Livesey is going to bring me his boat, and we're going to have to swap over. So just kind of waiting right now. It's kind of a waiting game until they get here. But who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. I can drift across these flats. May catch a big one jerking.
Well, that's been a big challenge for a lot of our anglers this week. There's been a lot of trolling motor situations getting pounded out on the lake. And when you spear 6 waves out on Lake Ontario, it makes baby cry.
Yes,
it really does.
Absolutely. There's no piece of equipment on earth that's designed to really stand up to this.
And that's just part of it.
Yeah,
that's part of the game.
You factor that in. Just another thing you got to plan for. Chad Morgan-Taylor, what an impressive tournament it has been for him. Yesterday, very, very effective.
Feels like the wheels are coming off right now.
A little bit.
He's another guy. You mentioned Brad Watley fishing in the lake, deciding to stay in the river today. So did Chad Morgan-Taylor. he's not going to make that run either. Even though it's considerably less than what Watley was making, he still wasn't going to make that run.
Yes, Chad Morgenthaler with a big day yesterday back in Black River Bay outside of Henderson Bay. Exactly right. Made a run out to Galoo Island, and the other side of it really is, you heard Chad Morgenthaler talk himself out of going into Lake Ontario very early yesterday morning.
Yeah, way before he even got to the weigh-in.
Here's a comment he made. You ready? He said, I've got some largemouth saved right around French Creek Marina.
Boy.
Here's the only problem. Brock Mosley's been doing that all week long around French.
He caught them all.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't just fishing, but he was whaling on them. Look at the conditions yesterday on Lake Ontario compared to today. How different it could be.
Better one. You know, and here's, look at looks.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at Chad Morgenthaler
yesterday,
it looks brutal for our anglers out there. But if you take your time, if you don't go out there and beat the fire out of your boat and yourself, if you take your time to get to your spot, stay composed, the guys that go out there today, they will catch them.
And that is Paul Mueller, Chris Johnston, Taco Ito, and Clark Wendler.
Yes.
Brandon Palaniuk is still deciding.
Well, we're out in front of Clayton, just out in front of we're in the river, fishing a lot of these shoals that are located right out here in front of Clayton. The reason I chose this is the wind, as you can see here in front of Clayton, is already getting going. I know there's fish here. I just don't know how the size is. And that is not what we're after. But the whole deal is I have to be able to fish. I've had some other things I've had to work through. As rough water tends to, it will create issues you never thought you could have. And brother, let me tell you something. It's been one of those couple of days, but anyway, back to the location. There's a lot of fish on these shoals, and I had actually a pretty good day of practice out here. Whenever the wind blew real hard, I've got 20 places out here, and that's not counting the ones that I can find today. I know what's going on, and I know how to catch them out here. And I want to be able to get to Lake Champlain next week. I want to win this event, but I'm going to tell you right now, those guys, if they do win it out there, look, I just took one over the bow right here, and I'm in the river. I can't imagine what it looks like out there right now, and it's getting ready to get a lot worse. I don't wish anybody any ill will, but those boys have got their work cut out for them today. So I'm going to try to stay up here where I can actually fish. I'm going to get a lot more fishing time in today. I've got some areas where I think I can catch a pretty decent bag if everything falls apart and I can't find a real good sweet spot out here. And so I'm pretty confident with that. We're just going to see how it unfolds. We're going to fish somewhat similar to where it's a practice day. I've had some of my best days on the lake doing that in tournaments where I maybe didn't have really a good idea and I wasn't really dialed in on what was happening. So this is kind of one of those days where you back up and you look at everything and you say, man, I got to take that chance. It was just really going to be risky, me getting to those fish. And I know that Chris and Paul are probably not far from where I was at, but they're a lot younger than I am, I think. So anyway, again, that's the game plan for today, is to stay in this area, and hopefully all it takes is one spot on this system. One spot. So we're going to try to find it today.
Definitely a Plan B day for Chad Morgenthaler. Hats off to him. His first 3 days, a solid 23-pound plus average.
Absolutely right. Gonna get back out to Corey Johnston in the mouth of St. Lawrence River in Lake Ontario, choosing not to go into the big lake today. Corey Johnston said that he marked a lot of fish on this deep ledge on the U.S. side of the St. Lawrence River. And he is not very far from where he caught a lot of fish in 2019, had a rough first day, but a lot of the fish that he actually weighed in, probably within a half a mile of his boat right now.
This one could be a better one. Hard to tell, but no. Oh, comes off. Nice.
Corey Johnston, a little crestfallen. He'll keep working at it, picking it apart. He'll figure out something.
Our cameraman with Paul Mueller has got a little bit of cell phone footage. Paul Mueller making his way to the mouth of Chameau Bay, and he's made that turn. When you're not going into the teeth of those waves, he's made that turn to the southwest, actually straight to the south, able to run those troughs, and he is not far from where he's done all of his damage all week long. Hey, great cell phone footage.
Well, hats off
to Eric Kafka.
Eric has to have his camera all buttoned up for this trip, or we won't have a camera when we get there. Going to his cell phone, getting the job done.
Doing anything right now.
Anything to get it done. Paul Mueller will do anything, obviously, to get it done. A momentous win would it be for him. His second in the season out of 3 events total. Chris Johnston giving chase here. And Morgan Taylor, Corey Johnston we have seen out there. Going to try to find, also seen Micah Frazier. Going to find Clark Winlet for you and more when we come back. So plenty to come today. Championship Sunday on Bassmaster Live.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new Tour Grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
Fish and win with Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid. Up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
This reel allows you to cover more water, make more casts, giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo Rocket, Abu Garcia for life.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Bassmaster Live, you're getting a taste of what anglers will do to get to this place, the World Championship of Fishing. Next year for 2021, it's going to be in fabulous Fort Worth, Texas, and fabulous Lake Ray Roberts. Big bass factory for sure. Sad to find our world champion. Fort Worth, a fantastic town, the brand new Vicky's Arena, state-of-the-art spot for this fantastic tournament of all tournaments, the most important single tournament by far, not by a little, by a lot, in the sport of bass fishing. Make your plans right now. Once in a lifetime opportunity, and boy, we hope to see you there in Fort Worth, the Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic. Today we're getting a taste of what guys will go through to get to that Bassmaster Classic today, Mark Zona, and it's a lot.
No doubt about it. It definitely hasn't been popping, not as much there's been fireworks, it's just not been as many fish catches as we've seen the first 3 days of this tournament. Gonna get back right now. A lot of our anglers still running out on the lake. Gives you a gauge of Brock Mosley fishing very close to our takeoff, French Creek Marina in Clayton, New York. Corey Johnston, about, call it a mile from the mouth of Lake Ontario, choosing not to go to where he caught him yesterday, hooked up right now live. Little bit better one right there. I mean, it barely moving that fish right now.
Not sure how big this one is. It's so hard to tell. I don't think he's too big. No. 2-pounder.
Definitely a fish by the end of the day that Corey Johnston probably would not want to weigh in. We're going to get back out on Lake Ontario right now. I believe Corey Johnston, one of our anglers with a big day 3, actually day 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, Taku Ito from yesterday was out on the lake. We have him in the river right now. A lot better conditions yesterday morning where Taku Ito was at.
Really? Wow, what happened? So
Fish on one side of the boat, Takumi Ito on the other, but he does get things straightened out eventually there. That was some fun.
Oh, people, if you didn't see this yesterday, his line was stuck, but the fish ended up coming up with whatever was left over the line, and he came up on the other side of the boat.
Again, you get to see the difference in conditions one
Better
day to
times
the
on
next.
Lake Ontario yesterday, Tommy
And
Sanders.
it's not some big billowing, you know, perfect storms type shit. This is normal conditions out there.
Today.
Yeah,
yes.
today.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
yes, yes.
We talked about it. I heard Davey Height say this. It's really the angle of those waves. And a lot of times you have to go further away from where you're headed to get on the correct angle to get to where you're at. The other thing is, taking a look at Taku Ito yesterday, the other, I made the comment, when you're running in that rough water, is don't get in a hurry. The main thing when you are in rough water, whether you're going into the waves or coming back with the waves, is keeping the nose of your boat up. When you get in a hurry, and what happens is your nose wants to go down when you get in a hurry. That is when you start doing bad things and spearing waves.
Woo! Fish maybe.
Right now we're still enjoying a look back at
better
at more
times.
peaceful times, happier times yesterday on the lake with Takumi Ito. Very impressive young fisherman from Japan.
Yes.
And over 20 each and every day.
Maybe 3 pounder. Woo! I got it. Woo! Thank you.
How was your conversation last night with Taku? I know I texted him and said, hey, all those 3s yesterday were 4s, and he said, yes, they were.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're live. Tell me about today.
Oh,
Today, so I try to rake, so but too much wind, so big wave, so I cannot go to the rake. So I try to mouth, so Cape Vincent. So now it's 33 feet deep, so big flat, and so maybe morning is a fish is a shallow flat. So I try so 33 feet shallow flat. So I use a half-ounce drop shot. So one with so two baits. So Japanese Ekogia Akua. So swim shrimp and gulps. Fry 3 inches. So, but wind is no good for me because so many I see in a fish finders I can so find the fish, so I'm trying fishing. So, but too much wind is very difficult for me. So I cannot find the fish.
Definitely a plan B day, at least so far, for Taco Ito as well.
You know, we've seen a lot of anglers fishing those cans, those big channel marker cans, like that green one on your screen right there. Has a giant chain cable that goes on to a big cement block. There's a lot of, so many local tournaments throughout the years. You hear guys winning tournaments running cans. It makes a great structure, but the other side is there's a reason that can's there. It's just off of generally a flat that leads to a shipping channel. So it's on some sort of a contour that the smallmouth will use.
Taku mentioned that as well, said he's going to be really concentrating on areas adjacent to those flats all day long.
And there's been big stringers caught this week in the river, especially where you see Taku Ito within a couple miles of that mouth. I mean, we've seen some giant stringers, you know, 22 to 24 pounds. So it's definitely doable to still weigh in a very big bag out of the river.
Indicated to us he's going to be leaning more on his electronics today.
Yes.
Find some fish, locate some fish. He's having to do something a little different today. Doesn't think he can fish his spots from yesterday. So Morgan Taylor, Ito, both trying to make plan B. I'll just get it sharpened up a little bit, getting to work as fast as they can and try to get as much done in these now 7 hours of fishing time that are left. Here's Brad Watley. He talked about some trouble with his boat. He really put it through the paper, through the ringer yesterday with a long trip.
Yep, and that is one of the things when you're traveling about 70 to 100 miles out on Lake Ontario. Part of the game is you're going to deal with the mechanical issues. Lee Livesey coming to the rescue right there and going to swap boats out, get Brad Watley back out on the water.
Which is completely legal after talking to Tripp, discussing that. Watley doesn't have any fish to transfer, so that's one aspect you don't have to worry about.
Yes.
Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston, nothing's changed at the top of this leaderboard, and that is definitely where the main attraction, the heavyweight bout, is going to take place during the course of today. They're still getting ready, getting set up on the places where they expect to catch him for a fourth.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing
is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key. And Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Still plenty of time, about 3 hours left in our morning session of Bassmaster Live. Coming up right after our morning session, we'll have Syria Sucker at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Bologna hosts Lecce. We're trying to avoid relegation. Also, remember, for all your soccer needs, check out ESPN FC on ESPN Plus every day.
Lecce's back definitely against the wall in this one. And big hats off to you, my friend. Calling Robert Whitaker, taking down Darren Till last night in a decision that a few of us don't quite agree with if you look at Robert Whitaker's face from the fight, guys. Okay?
Yeah, it took some damage there. It was a rough and ready match. We'll say that. Rough and ready. My guy from New Zealand prevailed.
Get out to Chad Morgan-Taylor right now. You see our anglers are all close to their areas out in Lake Ontario right now. Chad Morgan-Taylor with a lot of protection actually in the river, and well, you could see it is starting to growl, and we knew the further that we get into the day, the rougher it is going to get on the St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario.
There you go.
Chad Morgan-Taylor making the comment that he's going to use this day almost as a practice day, take care of his equipment, planning. It was cool to listen to this because you're looking at a guy that is in third place in this tournament with a legitimate shot to win with the conditions that we have here. Decent little smallmouth right there. But wanting to take care of his equipment with our next tournament. Practice actually starts tomorrow on Lake Champlain up in upstate New York.
Back-to-backers for sure. There's some special planning and maintenance for sure. Better one there. Chad Morgan-Taylor, definitely a keeper. Solid fish.
Like I said, there's some big ones out.
All right, we're going to take you out to Brandon Polnick starting this day in 10th place. Nearby, oh man, Dave Mercer standing by. Dave?
Guys, what we're seeing here with Brandon Polnick is maybe a more mature Brandon Polnick. I mean, a dude who is synonymous with making those big, crazy runs. And you remember what he did, that heroic run. But a guy who
honestly never thinks he's out of it. I mean, his goal every year is to win every single event, as bizarre and weird as that sounds, but that is really his mindset. I talked to him this morning. I'm like, you're going to the lake, right? No way. He said, I'm going to the river. And a lot of the same thoughts of Chad Morgan-Taylor. I mean, he says, I'm 16 or 17 pounds back. He said, so it's unrealistic, obviously, but a lot of this is management, and it's equipment management. We're going from two of the biggest bodies of water, back to back. And the thing to remember is we don't have as many service crews here this time around because of, the COVID restrictions and travel restrictions in New York. It's only essential staff here. Now, a lot of those service crews aren't here, so you're seeing a lot of our guys after hours, wrenching and putting things together. There's going to be a lot of guys duct taping their way into the next one. But Brandon Palnick's got one fish in the boat here early, fish in the river, says he's just fishing free. I mean, everything's a bonus from here. Just wants to keep the wheels on so he can get to Champlain tomorrow morning and start pre-fish in good condition.
Does it surprise you, Dave Mercer? You know the Johnston brothers very well. They have cut their teeth on this lake in this sort of weather. Corey Johnston lays over 25 pounds of fish on the scale yesterday. Made the comment last night, nothing will stop me from going into that lake. And as we've seen this morning, he's fishing right in front of Cape Vincent and did not make that run out to Galoo Island.
I'm very shocked because I asked him, last night off stage and everything, and he 1,000, like he laughed at the thought of not making it. So I don't know what's going on there, and maybe that was just some gamesmanship yesterday. He does like to play some games out here. So maybe he was just saying only an idiot wouldn't go to the lake, and he was just playing games. I don't know. I would think that there had to be something happen, or why wouldn't he? I mean, they're not scared of anything. Like, I will tell you this. Those dudes have ice in their veins. It blows me away. I mean, they had equipment troubles last year, and not to harp on it, but even after repeated equipment troubles, I remember going to Chris here on takeoff of the final day and being like, are you even thinking of checking up? And he's like, no. I mean, they don't think like that. So I'm not sure what's going on with Corey.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. Dave Mercer out there on the water, as he has been each and every day, staying on top of the stories for us. Let's take you back to 2013, and Brandon Palnick arrives on the scene fresh from a penalty on the Mississippi River that cost him dearly. And he said, I got to come back and win the next one. This was the next one.
Exactly right. Making almost, you're looking at about an 80-mile run every day. We talked about it, Tommy Sanders. Actually, the odds were against him getting to that area in Henderson Bay, and he got there every single day of that tournament to hold that trophy. One of the most impressive wins that we have covered together. We actually got to see some footage right while Dave Mercer was talking. Clark Wendelin making it to his area that we've watched him all tournament long. Very rough where Clark Wendelin is at.
So getting some Chris Johnston pictures.
Yes.
Johnston pictures in.
Yes.
That's good.
That's good. A little bit of trouble with our leaders, Chris Johnston. We rely on cell coverage to get out on the water with these guys. Try to bring their picture to you whenever we can. Great picture with Clark Wendelin. He's actually not that far from Paul Mueller, your day 3 leader.
Wendelin said yesterday, hey, I've spent 3 days eliminating places I don't need to be. I know where I'm going. I'm fishing.
I've known Clark for a long time, and we have fished against each other back in the day. This will not bother Clark Wendelin. He will sit out there all day long.
Brock Mosley, you see in the lower left, is headed back to the place where we've been seeing him spend most of his time, 95% of his time anyway.
Just looks so much more enjoyable where Brock Mosley's at. Brock Mosley, by far the calmest water, has fished boat docks almost the entire week. Dead flat, calm, sunny. People coming out talking to him.
It's a beautiful Sunday in Clayton.
That's exactly right.
He said people have come out of their house and say, we're watching you. on TV inside the house here.
Show you something from about 10 minutes ago.
Fishing up shallow too long when, man, well, I just came shallow. I mean, I haven't been here 3 minutes. There's one, big one. No, I'm just pulling him wrong. And people come running down the dock. And they greet you.
Not quite going to get it done today, but big hats off to Brock Mosley. Being able to compete with largemouth predominantly against some of the best smallmouth fishermen in the world on one of the best smallmouth bodies of water in the world. Such, go ahead.
Chris Johnston's camera was out, but he did bring in a 2-pound fish.
Got it.
The first one of our leaders to strike.
Thought it was...
It's only 3 ounces back of Paul Mueller.
Thought it was cool to listen to Chris Johnston and what his game plan was. He's been fishing one spot out in the mouth of Lake Ontario, a lot closer to the St. Lawrence River than Paul Mueller, and guys like Chad Morgan-Taylor were yesterday. And Chris Johnston said, I'm going to get to this one area where I ended my day yesterday, and I'm going to sit there all day long and maximize my fishing time, at least my fishing time out on Lake Ontario, for the simple fact of what I marked on my electronics, on my graph. So what I marked later in the day yesterday, I saw everything I need to know about that spot. And he said, look, if Paul Mueller catches him, I get beat, but I feel like I can get it done in this one spot where we see him this morning.
Take a look at Brock Mosley yesterday. Very entertaining. It was in these environs pretty much all day long. You see it from the start of the day. He started out with a smallmouth. Wind up keeping that smallmouth because of the fish care concern. And went to this.
Brock Mosley pretty much the entire tournament throwing a bladed jig on shallow slate rock, chunk rock, and boat docks. And these boat docks are a lot different than boat docks you may see down south, you might see in the Midwest. A lot of these boat docks are more down, and there's a lot of rubble, there's a lot of rock underneath that actually support them. So even though you see that dock from above, there is a whole infrastructure underneath to hold these bass. And the other thing that's been really interesting to watch with Brock Mosley, a lot of these docks that he's caught them off of have reloaded every day of this tournament.
Just phenomenal. You come to the smallmouth capital of the world and you average well over 20 pounds a day of largemouth.
Stay hooked up. Stay hooked up! Yes!
6-pound, 10-ounce largemouth. That is a... Well, you don't see many of those on the St. Lawrence River. I've seen a couple of them in the past 2 decades, but good day 3 for Brock Mosley.
He was proud on stage that he could catch a 6-pound smallmouth and a 6-pound largemouth in the same tournament. Doesn't happen very often.
Again, all of this yesterday going downtown within, you know, rock throwing distance of the launch, basically, within a mile or two anyway.
That's her. Stay on, but
this fish right here within the last hour of competition yesterday, just outside of French Creek Marina.
All day. It took me all day.
Back to live, Brock Mosley, and there's Chris Johnston live. Again, very, very challenging services out there.
And that's kind of what we're dealing with Chris Johnston and Paul Mueller.
Definitely a bite.
And he told you he's here
he said he will,
for as much time as the weather will allow.
Yes, he will lock in to that certain stretch out in the main lake.
We had that look back on Brandon Polinick going to the lake and winning in 2013. It did not take him long, much time any of those days to get his big limits.
When we come back from break, we'll also talk about, it's a lot harder. These guys were able to visually look at their electronics and see individual fish the first 3 days, as calm as it was. It's a lot more frustrating when your electronics are coming out of the water on the front of your boat. We'll get into that when we come back.
I'm going to ask you about that.
All right, with that and much more on the way. Plenty of Bassmaster Live yet to come on Championship Sunday. We started with 86 anglers here at this third stop of the regular season, down to 10 today. One of the 10 will hold the trophy at the end of it all. Take a break, and we'll be right back on Bassmaster Live.
The Sight 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
Wherever the trail gets rough and the mud gets deep, you'll find a Toyota Tacoma. It's the best-selling compact pickup in America for 12 years, and it's not because we baby them. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key. And Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
You're watching the Sight 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Championship Sunday with the challenging conditions, to say the least, especially for our leaders at the top. Looking for the trophy today, and the challenges continue. Next week, next Thursday, we tee it up at fabulous Lake Champlain, probably next to St. Lawrence, the two top fisheries in the Empire State.
No doubt about it, Tommy Sanders. That's going to be a kind of pick your poison. You can fish deep there or shallow, largemouth or smallmouth. I'm going to say a mixed bag wins that tournament.
Okay.
Got to keep your eye on Seth Fighter, who's one of the favorites here on the St. Lawrence River this time around.
Yes, sir. We will do that for certain. Paul Mueller.
See, I was teeing up a little fantasy that we can work on a little later, Ron.
We can chew into that a little bit later on. We'll break into that little lockbox and see what Ron Moore has for us there. Paul Mueller looking to win his second tournament of the year. 2 wins already for Paul Mueller in his still young Bassmaster Elite Series career. He came out here as the Bass Nation champion. That is the grassroots organization feeding the tours of the Bassmasters.
Exactly right. Last year, Lake Lanier doing what he pretty much has cut his teeth doing, fishing deep, clear water, Candlewood Lake in Connecticut. And that's a tournament, we talked about it this week. That is a tournament you thought a guy like Paul Mueller would win. But earlier this year, showing his versatility, winning on the St. Johns River in a tournament. I hate to say this, not a lot of us were watching Paul Mueller to win this tournament at all.
No, we think of him as a deep water, clear water, electronics guy.
Mueller wasn't looking at himself in that event.
He said that. Absolutely. Gonna get and this is the problem we've got today with the cell coverage way out in Lake Ontario. That is kind of what we're dealing with. Not horrible where Paul Mueller is fishing yet, at least. Fishing in the mouth of Chameau Bay. From there,
Well, we'll be dealing with that.
Brock Mosley near French Creek Marina.
I'm just bouncing around. I've hit this every day, but I've caught a couple of big ones there in practice, and I was just gonna see if they would bite again. But I'm gonna move a lot faster today, cover a lot more water.
We made the comment earlier. All eyes pretty much have been on Paul Mueller.
You know, these stretches,
Johnston.
these stretches I've been hitting, I done got to where I know where if I'm gonna get a bite, where it's gonna be. And you know, I eliminated, like, I mean, I've been fishing all through here and I haven't been doing much, but since that guy's fishing that offshore spot right there, I figured I'd pull up before him, but I'm not gonna waste the time to fish all through there like I've been the last few days, because I hadn't done nothing. Don't even get bit around it. Main thing I want to do is get out here on the outside of this point and fish the trunk rock on the outside of this point, but I didn't want to run around this guy, so I stopped before I got to him.
Talking to Paul Mueller last night, did he have any spots in the river that he would maybe pull the plug if it wasn't working in the lake?
Don't think so.
No?
No. Not only that, it's been a very odd, obviously, 2020 where strange things have happened. Could you imagine if a largemouth fisherman within 1 mile of our takeoff in Clayton, New York won this tournament? Oh, could you imagine that?
I never count anything out anymore.
Oh, I would say.
I used to.
I would say.
Been an easy week. Re-rigging every night when you...
Three anglers smallmouth fishing in the St. Lawrence River. Micah Frazier, Taku Ito, Corey Johnston. Closest to Lake Ontario of those three. Brock Mosley. Actually.
People think I've just been fishing docks all week. But I haven't. See, that fish was just on one of those stair-step rocks. I thought he was a little better than that when you get. And then boulders, you know, I look at a boulder the same way I would looking at a stump down south. It's something that provides shade, provides an ambush point. So you got a lot of, that's the way I look at it, just like I would be a stump. Other than a stump down south, you can actually get close enough to flip it, but here they can see you so far, so you got to step back and cast to them.
Keeper right there for Brock Mosley. Not a big one, but as we've seen, he just kind of puts his time in, and he made the comment that really the biggest key for those largemouth is cover water. Don't slow down, keep moving throughout the day. He will connect with some of those giant largemouths from the St. Lawrence River.
He's had this whole place to him all 3 days. Ironically, the day we have 10 anglers, he's got a little more company in that area. We're taking a look at that map where our anglers are. When we come back, we got plenty more to bring you here from the fabulous St. Lawrence River and challenging Lake Ontario. That's where our 1 and 2 anglers in this tournament are being challenged right now. Mueller
Waits a little down
Chris
so
Johnston
far
on the
this
board.
morning.
Corey Johnston, the angler with the most pounds, just 2 fish for 23 pounds. So a slower, much slower start today, but we will be here for when it picks up. We'll be right back.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
With Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid. Up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Bassmaster Live, right in the middle of our morning session on this final day of 4 days of fishing, Championship Sunday. We'll have a winner of it all today at the weigh-in. That's coming up much later today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Our afternoon session actually begins right here at 1 p.m., so we'll bring you the final 2 hours of fishing, taking you all the way up to weigh-in time. So put that on your Sunday schedule for today, Championship Sunday here at the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite on the St. Lawrence River. Of course, the big battle for the trophy at the top, a very top-heavy leaderboard all week long. Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston just swapping out places, 1 and 2, all through the first 3 days of fishing. Pretty much the same action today, very much more challenging to bring you those pictures today. We're doing everything we can. We'll have score updates for you and so forth like that. But man, it's a rough one out there. We've had the American side of the St. Lawrence River, 110 miles of that, all of Lake Ontario. Not much of Lake Ontario is gettable today.
No, actually, there's one place, and we were going to talk about that one of our anglers I know knows about it, Clark Wendelet. But that Grenadier Island that's been a big player in this tournament, and Fox Island, there is protection behind those two islands. Very curious to see if one of our leaders, whether it's Mueller, Wendelet, or Chris Johnston, goes behind those islands, because there is still guaranteed there's a big bag to catch back there.
All right, well, we got plenty more on the way today. We're going to take you right now over to the screen of knowledge. We always pick up some valuable, essential information as Ronnie Moore fires up the screen. and gets things rolling. Do that right now, Ron.
I wanted to bring some stats in here just to kind of recap not only the first 2 days of competition, but also yesterday, the cut day. When we look at the comparison between the days, every single day in bass fishing is a brand new day. It's hard. So many environment changes, variables. But the average fish, 3 pounds 6 ounces, it changed to 3 pounds 5 ounces on day 2. The big bass, very similar, but obviously that's a once in a lifetime 7 pound 13 ouncer. We talked about the different cut lines and the 20-pound bags. We saw 17 20-pound bags and 14 over the first 2 days. How that compares to yesterday, half the field fishing, instead of 86, we only had 40. 39 of those guys got their 5 fish limit. The average fish actually went up yesterday. 3.5 pounder was the average fish. We saw the big bass, a 6'10". The prior 2 days, the big bass was a smallmouth. Yesterday's big bass was a largemouth. The big bag, we still had to be over 25 pounds for the big bag. We saw 27 plus, 25 plus, and another 25-pound bag. That top 10 cut, we said, hey, you're going to have 20 pounds a day to even make the final day. We were off by just 4 ounces. He was just under that 20-pound average, and 11 20-pound bags yesterday. One thing I wanted to mention as well, the average or the most weight after 3 days of competition in smallmouth in Bassmaster Elite Series history, we had Lake St. Clair last year, a 3-day event. Seth Feider had 77.15 after 3 days. This year, 76.15 after 3 days. And then Seth Feider did it again at Mille Lacs, 76.5. And Chris Johnston is second place this week, 74.12. We've got 2 of our biggest 3-day smallmouth weights in this event. So, hey, if they can get it done out of Ontario, it's rough today. Some of the photos we've seen this morning have shown that rough water. If they can get it done, that 100 pounds is still in reach if they have a good hour of fishing.
Well, a good survey of the stats from the first 3 days. Ronnie, screen of knowledge, thanks to the both of you for making it happen for us. There's some footage that says a lot about today. Today is a different animal.
Exactly right. That's the mouth right there of St. Lawrence River going to Lake Ontario. And we do actually have a little bit of footage right now with Paul Mueller in the mouth of Chameau Bay fighting one on his back deck. Again, a little bit choppy service right now with Paul Mueller, but we're going to get you any pictures we can today.
Mueller trying to win this one wire to wire. His game plan, his execution have both been superb.
I notice his
I don't know yet.
cameraman, Eric Kafka. Eric Kafka is in the bottom of the boat, and trust me, Eric Kafka's been out in this before on this exact lake with me.
Yeah! Yeah! Let's go!
Oh. What happened right there? Oh my God! I'm not sure what happened right there.
he was pleased with it. He liked that first keeper. This is all just moments
ago.
That's a good way to start if you're going to start for him. It take a little bit to get there, but 5 of those.
Close to 4 pounder, 5 pounder.
Thought he was going to go full-blown Darren Till on cameraman Eric Kafka right there.
Oh, boy, Eric going, yeah.
He did.
On the canvas.
That's considered a knockdown by Paul Mueller. That's one knockdown and an effective strike right there.
Exactly, Ronnie.
Man down. Man down.
There on the water.
Good ahead.
Thankful for that, Paul Mueller. Scoring his first one, a good one there.
It only takes 5. He only needs 4 more like that.
Yep.
Possibly.
So
4
much
pound, 12 ounces.
Chad Morgan Taylor fishing right outside of French Creek Marina.
This is a beautiful summer Sunday.
We've got some rough water fishermen watching this tournament, guys that have fished Lake Erie, Pelee Island, St. Clair, Lake Huron. That is part of the game. The part of the game is the anxiety you have getting there, getting to your spot, collecting your marbles, and then getting job number 2 done. And job number 3 is just getting back.
Mueller built his lead there. Chris Johnston struck right back with his second fish, a 4 pound, 4 ounce. So he's only 11 ounces back right now.
Slugfest goes on. This has been this way since hour 1 of day 1 of these 4 days of fishing.
And we said service is bad right at the moment. That's why we don't have the fish catch.
That wind would definitely somehow reposition. You know, you're not as deadly. Before we went to commercial break, you're not as deadly accurate as you were when it was calmer. You see Chris Johnston right there. We did not see his fish catch. But a lot of these areas, these fish will just reposition where they were at the first few days. Chris Johnston and Paul Mueller will track them. They're still going to have a lot of time to fish out on that lake today.
So you said there's bait being swept along the bottom as these fish are, and you get one of their...
anything, there's potential it could get better today for those two. It's just going to be the pain cave doing it.
You mentioned their electronics aren't as perform as well in these kind of conditions. What other considerations are there for placing your bait and difficulties in this weather? See,
you're pretty much at the mercy, obviously, of that. It's just these guys are fishing rock piles. In case you're just tuning in, they're fishing isolated rock piles that are about the size of the deck of your boat. It's just harder to be as accurate as you were when it was dead flat calm.
And that's what some fans are asking about when you're going 4 to 5, foot waves. Is their bait going 4 or 5 feet up?
No,
or are they
if you listen,
yeah.
their bail is constantly clicking to where they're constantly in bottom contact.
Over at Cape Vincent, which is right there near the mouth of the river, there is our own Davey Hyde. Davey looking a little bit drier, as a matter of fact, right now. Tough guy, classic champion, 2-time angler of the year. We know you're not going to be driven off the lake, but from time to time you got to take a breather and collect your thoughts, right, Davey? What are you thinking about right now?
He's waterproof.
Exactly right, Tommy. So the reason I came in the river is to show the big difference. I'm at Cape Vincent, only probably a mile and a half from the lake. When I was with you guys earlier, I was out on the lake, and only a mile and a half from here, 2 miles at the most, and it's like a different world here. So what's interesting is the guys that chose to stay in this river. I was just with Corey Johnston. I talked to him last night, and there was no doubt he was going out in the lake. Said, I got to catch a big stringer to move up, to have a chance to win, to have any chances at all. But he chose to stay in the river. Really surprised me. I've been watching him for the last few minutes, marking a lot of fish, and he said they just did not want to bite, which is really surprising to me and to him. The current is just perfect the way it's pushing through the river here this morning, but he was having a tough time trying to get those fish to bite. But I do want to talk about when I was at the mouth of the lake and saw those anglers from takeoff come around and take that turn to go over to Chameau Bay area where several of them are fishing. It was so interesting to see the calmness in the Paul Mueller, the Clark Wendlandt, the Chris Johnston. Those guys, they had made up their mind what they were going to do. The first mission of the day was to get to the area, and they had resolved, so to speak, of hey, this is what it is. I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to damage my equipment getting there. I'm going to get there. And then the fishing part is going to be more difficult today, just trying to keep your boat in position to make presentations to those fish offshore. But then this afternoon, the final mission will be returning back to the weigh-in. You have to be on time, a pound a minute if you're late. You try to calculate how long it'll take you. You don't want to leave time on the table, so to speak. Get in the river where you haven't fished. Those guys haven't really fished in the river this week. So it'll be interesting as you see all these things unfold. They've gotten to their locations. They're starting to catch some fish now. How long will they stay there? I think the fishing will be good. How long will they allow to come back to make its way in on time?
Davey, you have fished so many rough water tournaments on this body of water. We talked about these guys driving to their areas, and it seems where a lot of anglers get in trouble is when they just get going too fast. That's when, we said it, that's when it makes baby cry. Really part of this entire game is just keeping your composure and taking your time to get to your primary area.
You're exactly right, Z, and that's what I saw those anglers that were going out in the lake today. That's what they had. They had composure and confidence in their equipment, their ability to navigate that rough water. And, these guys, they're the best in the world. And I love the total package of a bass fishing tournament is to be able to navigate to your location, whether it's a 120-mile run in calm waters or if it's only a 20-mile run in 4, 5, 6 foot waves. I mean, it's all part of the game, and it makes these guys complete, well-rounded fishermen. And you could tell those guys that went out there this morning, there was no panic in their looks on their faces. Came right by me, waved. I mean, they were just on a journey, like halfway through a marathon or a quarter of the way through the marathon, and they know that today will be a marathon for them. Physically and mentally exhausting. This is the 8th day actually, on the water for them in a row. They're physically worn down, but it's just something inside of a tournament angler that keeps you. It's the mindset to keep you going. Today is the final day, and somebody's going to hold that blue trophy over their head.
Davey, thank you so much. Great job of sort of profiling these guys for us in a completely different set of circumstances today. Hey, interesting to know that they're taking their temperature for us a little bit.
Big one right there for Corey Johnston. I guess the way he was fighting it, I didn't think it was that big. Corey Johnston fishing in the mouth of the St. Lawrence River leading out into Lake Ontario with a good one. Corey Johnston said he's been marking big ones all morning long, getting one of those to commit right there.
He was the first to strike among our 10 out there today.
Some reason Corey Johnston just seems to always fall into a big bag on this body of water. He'll have something to say before this tournament's done today.
All right, we will look forward to that. Corey Johnston, his story was fascinating last year. It did not end well for him. Maybe he's looking for a better ending this time around in 2020. Paul Mueller, we saw him with a good catch out there. We're really grateful for every little bit of footage we get of Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston, the two heavyweights, slugging it out at the top of the leaderboard today. We've got 10 out there. We're going to make our way up and down the river and into the lake all morning long. We'll be right back after this.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
In the wild, nature dictates that when it's time to eat, animals will instinctively find and devour the meal that satisfies them most. In the water, Berkeley Powerbait's scientifically proven formula triggers the natural predatory instinct in bass. Now available in a plethora of shapes, sizes, and colors. Berkeley Powerbait. Fish bite and won't let go.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Bassmaster Live, the Bassmaster Elite Series, and 6th visit to the St. Lawrence River for the Elite Series. First time we have been to Clayton here in this modern era, but Clayton's so much of the Bassmasters history, especially the first 30 years of the Bassmasters. was written right here. This was the headquarters for all of those great Thousand Island, St. Lawrence River tournaments that took place out here in the Lake Ontario. Beautiful town, great vacation getaway, especially in the summertime. Just a beautiful place to set up and enjoy a perfect summer weekend. Of course, a little thing different this time around. Clayton selected so we could have a little bit more infrastructure because so many health concerns. Everybody knows what I'm talking about there, including testing of the anglers when they arrived on site there, each and every one of them, and daily health self-checks coordinated by a group called crew minders, Ronnie.
Yeah, every single morning, the guys will go through their own screening, through a text system, a reminder system that crew minder sends out, able to monitor if they have, they're all feeling good, no fevers, all that stuff, because we will be going to Lake Champlain this coming week as well. Want to make sure all the anglers and staff are on the up and up.
Yes, so lucky to be able to do this, but it takes a lot of work, everybody being on top of it.
Great town, though. Clayton, New York, great town.
Man, we can't say thanks enough to the folks at Clayton, and of course, through the years, the folks downstream at Waddington.
Well, you know what, Tommy Sanders, it's time. I'm not...
Time for the music, yes, I got you.
It's interesting, we have not given it to Corey Johnston this entire tournament, but the Power Pole replay of the day, number one, I'm talking about a dadgum Canadian stud right there, Tommy Sanders. Corey Johnston catching a couple little ones earlier this morning. Caught a big bag on day 3 to get him to today. Just a few minutes ago. Misses one right there, but a few minutes ago, getting a little bit of redemption. Fishing just about a couple 100 miles away from our own Davy Height.
Too big.
Camera woman Ashley Wagers catching a big one right here for... No, actually, that is not the one, so we're getting there. Corey Johnston deciding to not go out in the Lake Ontario today. A little bit of a surprise to every single one of us that have covered Corey Johnston. Corey Johnston with a big one here before our commercial break. Said he's definitely marking them. Corey Johnston, so far this morning, you are the Power Pole replay of the day.
A little bit better.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's what he wanted to key in on today.
It's been a lot better tournament for Corey Johnston compared to last year. I'm not going to lie, last year was the Power Pole. Look at him. I mean, look at all swolled up.
There
You'll see myself and Steve Bowman trying to help him out. Just to let you know, the trolling motor was intact. It was a little bit of the bolts that were coming loose. A little
bit of them.
And that is what happens here on Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. Corey Johnston catching him about 22 to 23 pounds. Puts him in the live well, and then, well, his day got worse. He came to the weigh-in late and lost about 7 to 8 pounds.
And it was bad because he was just taking it easy on the way back, thinking he was coming back early, and his clocks were off because he had to reset the graphs.
Yes. That was one of the more interesting days I've ever covered on the water with an angler.
Day-long train wreck.
That really was the Power Pole train wreck of the year, that first day of the tournament last year.
Yeah, tough as it is out there today, Corey's going to have a hard time as far as adversity goes, beating that day.
There was a lot of things said we couldn't air that were just fan.
Oh, really?
We got 3 in the box. One okay, one like a 3-something. Been catching some fish, having some bites, seeing lots on the graph. So we're just gonna keep grinding it out. We're up towards the lake here now. We're just gonna work our way back towards takeoff, and then further on down. Gonna mix it up today, hit shallow, deep, kind of everywhere in between. See what we can come up with. Don't have a lot of pressure on me today, so we'll see what happens.
You're just joining us here on this Sunday morning with the beautiful skies and the wind that is just creating all kinds of mischief for certain of our leaders today.
Paul Mueller is off out of cell range, but he just caught his second fish, a 2 3/4 pounder.
Okay.
He's up to 7.5 today. 2 fish.
Gosh, look at Clark Wendlett's boat. Oh, man. Need to get a shot of that one that just came over the front.
Clark Wendlett's starting this day 7 pounds back of the leader. 4th place.
Your Angler of the Year leader right there, Clark Wendlandt.
Oh, he is.
Going to a body of water next week, Lake Champlain. Clark Wendlandt has a lot of history on too. Largemouth and smallmouth. Take a look at that wave that he just took. Going to see a lot of these today. Yep.
Oh boy.
That's going to be a lot more of that.
That's a skirt lifter right there for sure.
You want to make sure your bilge pumps, your automatic bilge pumps are all in working order today on Lake Ontario, back into the St. Lawrence River.
I think we've covered Clark Wendlandt 8 of the 11 Elite Series days this year on camera. That's why he is your Angler of the Year leader.
It also tells you he's having a great year.
That's Brock Mosley right here.
Got lucky there.
He's caught a lot of fish off that exact stretch right there this week.
There he is. Good one. I don't want to boat flip you.
When it's that rough at French Creek Marina, see the Harbor Hotel right there over his left-hand shoulder, it's really going to get going here in the next few hours. Got to see a lot of boat traffic from Alexandria Bay to Clayton in this exact stretch yesterday. Very entertaining.
That's a solid one. Ain't no giant, but it's a solid one.
Solid fish right there for Brock Mosley. Getting it done with largemouth this week.
Well, like you say, it's just building up in the river right now, Mark Zona, and of course, imagine what's going on out in the lake. But the river's not an easy thing to navigate, even under great conditions. So much water, so much current, and so much traffic. Dave Mercer's going to show us with our a special little feature here about how to make your way around the St. Lawrence River. Take it away, Dave Mercer.
One of the biggest obstacles of this body of water is obviously wind and waves. And that's also one of the reasons these bodies of water are just so good, because Mother Nature protects them most of the year. But when you get out here, you're going to want to learn how to drive in this rough stuff. We're not even in the real nasty, but it's all about low to mid-range torque. It's not about speed. Speed gets you in trouble. You want to keep both your hands on the wheel. That's why you want to have your trim switches here, so you're not having to remove your hand and hit the console. You want to keep your nose down, your nose up, but your bow down, if that makes sense. It's all about pressure. You want to move your way and not be bounced around. And this is when you're heading out into them. This is actually the easiest part of the trip because you're in control. You can control your speed. It gets really tough when you try to spin her back around and go downhill. Now things are a lot different because now I'm not in control of my speed. Now the river is, and I've got to watch as I make my way through those waves. If you watch how we come off waves, it's not about constant speed. You need to be on them and off them and basically trough your way through this stuff. You can get through just about everything if you take your time and you don't put it in speed's hands. It's fun to go fast, but in this, it's all about being safe. Low, mid-range torque, and a little maneuverability will get you through this and get you back safe. And that is your Yamaha lay of the lake.
Thank you for the Yamaha lay of the lake. A lot of adrenaline at work there with Dave Mercer.
Yamaha unlocked the lake, and I noticed our friend Dave Mercer has a lot of experience in rough water. I noticed the closer he got to the mouth right there, he turned around. Yeah. Dave Mercer is not a dumb man.
He's spent a lot of time, as a matter of fact, in this environment right here. Good stuff right there. Some good stuff. Most of us have no idea what it takes to get through water like that. And that's certainly a part of the scene today. Paul Mueller, though, starting to catch him, put some keepers in the box, and we will get back.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
While I travel the country on the Bassmaster Elite Series, I simply can't let the weather be the reason I don't win $100,000. That's why I use AFCO clothing to keep me warm, dry, and protected from whatever Mother Nature wants to throw at me. My season depends on it. My career depends on it. AFCO, any fish, any water.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Still got a couple hours left in our morning session of Bassmaster Live for a wild and woolly day on the St. Lawrence River. Coming up right after that morning session, we'll have Serie A soccer, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Bologna host Lecce. They're trying to avoid relegation. For all your soccer needs, you can check out, of course, ESPN FC on ESPN+.
Who do you have in that, Tommy?
Every day. I know Lecce has caught your eye. I'm still kind of cranking the numbers right
Lecce is definitely, their back is against the wall. A little bit like Chris Johnston right now, falling down a little bit. Our leaders, Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston. I don't know anything about soccer. A little bit about the UFC.
You know you enjoy it when you watch it.
More than you can fathom, my friend.
Boy, the big heavyweight match. I mean, those two, Mueller and Johnston, at the top of the leaderboard. Well, really, it's down to them. Who's gonna be standing on top at the end of the day? And you can see where they are. Both of them making the commitment to go back to Lake Ontario despite these incredibly wild conditions out there. A wind that just completely bills during the course of the day. Keep our eye on them. Very tough to get coverage from them. We rely on cell phone service, and with your boat heaving up and down, 6 feet up, 6 feet down, it's hard to lock in.
Corey very relaxed today, deciding to stay in the mouth of the river. You see Wolf Island in the background. It's on the Canadian side. Our anglers, again, if you're just joining us, cannot go due to regulations.
The most boring type of fishing there is, just drift, and I hate it.
Have to stay on the U.S. side, New York side of St. Lawrence River and Ontario.
We'll catch them shallow today.
Obviously see multiple fish down there. He hooks up with that one in mid-catch. Marks a waypoint right there. He must have rolled over a couple on his drift.
Again, we said Corey will fall into him today. It's going to be a good day to fish shallow. We talked about smallmouth. Higher the sun gets, the better that shallow water bite is, where you could see them.
Now he's pulling. 2.5 pounder. 2 and a half. 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 2 and a
Not even. Got it.
Three fish already in the live well for Corey Johnston. That makes 4. Expressing his distaste for drift fishing. He doesn't like it too much, but
I noticed
he will do it.
He doesn't like drift fishing, and he and his brother really do not like 3 to 4 pound smallmouth bass at all.
No, just
all.
no respect at all for them.
No, it's like when they get them in the boat, they shame them a little bit. They'll kind of rough talk them. Keep your mouth off me.
Yo, stop.
Suge?
Yeah.
It looked like you were going somewhere
okay.
right there. Sorry.
He's
gonna laugh.
working on a special report, I think. He doesn't like drift fishing. Maybe he likes it faster, and it's fast drifting today because we have that wind that you say is always building, going with the current.
Again. Corey Johnston.
Little one. Real little one.
It's an impressive feat to to have a couple shots on goal today at 100 pounds for 4 days with only New York waters in play.
Yes, that's a good
Half
point.
the playing field in play. That's very impressive.
Ron, that is a good point, because you look at guys like Corey Johnston and Chris Johnston that said, boy, if we were able to actually go to where we fish in Canada, the weights would have really knocked your lights out.
On the lake and the river? Or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You talk about the area around Kingston, out into the lake, Amherst Island. The boys have done a lot of work out there through the last decade.
Been a little
Kong Island.
In our favor, I'm glad that maybe the Canada side of Cape Vincent's not in play, because we wouldn't see anything the whole event, because its services there is even dicier.
Ron, why are you going all buzzkill right there?
I'm just,
that's my job.
That's Such's job.
No, that's a buzzkill for. I mean, it's a positive thing for us. I mean, yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, the Johnsons came in last year's event saying, I don't fish the river much.
Micah Frazier, Taku Ito, side by side right there. Mike has been in the river all day, each and every day. Won it in the river last year, coming from 10th place. Taku Ito has spent 3 days on Lake Ontario with good results. 2 days. That's right. That's right. Yeah, the first day.
You know, he's fishing actually very close to where he said he caught them on day number 1. Winds were light on day 2 and 3. Micah Frazier hooked up right here.
He would have loved the Canada side to be in play. That's where he won last year.
Absolutely.
Same region of the river, but just the opposite side.
Going to be keeper number 2, if that is probably may not be a keeper for Micah Frazier.
Just threw that
12-inch limit here.
In rough service, gang, we're doing everything we can to get you out on the Lake Ontario with your leaders. This is just moments ago with Chris Johnston. Hey. Very choppy service, very choppy water.
Very choppy water.
Hooked up right here with Chris Johnston.
Moments ago, as far as we know, this, if it turns out to be a keeper, would be keeper 3 for Johnston.
Yesterday, he was catching a lot of 4-pounders in this area, and I guarantee, gosh.
Zeph, yeah. There we go, baby.
Just jumped in.
4 more of those.
Second time
Not
it's
the first
happened
time,
this
he was
tournament.
going to say. This has happened in this tournament for him. It's a good one, too.
That's unbelievable.
Abracadabra, it's in the boat.
Chris Johnston hooked up again, it looks like.
This again was also just a few minutes ago.
We made the comment coming into this day, it is going to beat you, it is going to be violent out on Lake Ontario, but they would bite. You're going to watch one of the best, and hats off to cameraman Russell, One Gear Russ, getting it done with Chris Johnston. Gosh, that's awesome.
This one has got his attention.
Come on, man. Boy, there are hardcore Great Lakes fishermen watching this. Absolutely. I know it sounds nuts. So a lot of folks that have not been out on this are like, ugh. But there are guys that have grown up on the Great Lakes watching this, loving this footage.
I was saying, no, that isn't too bad. Conditions aren't that bad.
Keeper number 4?
Number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah,
Number
a little
3.
bigger.
Okay. Previous one, as I said. Good stuff. Chris Johnston starting a couple of pounds back of our leader, Paul Mueller, at the beginning of Championship Sunday.
Not ideal conditions out on Lake Ontario, but you got to think the 3 or 4 guys that decided to stay and not run at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on day 4, if nothing has happened, they would be like, man, I wish I would have risked it a little bit. Maybe.
Oh, guaranteed.
You know, like
you
maybe
think about it all day long.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I would have had 20 and gotten out of there.
But if Mueller and Chris Johnston get near 20, they would have had no shot.
Yeah, but
they'd have to get.
Yeah, but the other, hey, you know, you're right on that. Okay,
But it's a gamble of
you're right
if
on
they
that.
fail.
You're right on that. But you're dealing with guys like Chad Morgan-Taylor that really
7
made
pounds
up
back.
that really made up his mind yesterday. Chad Morgan-Taylor was in contention to win this tournament, not going out on the lake. And I understand why he didn't go, but the other side is, okay, Chad Morgan-Taylor, if he gets down to Black River Bay, where you would have had a little bit more protection than these guys, and he would have got there, say you go there and catch a 23-pound bag, which he has done in this tournament there. The other variable you're dealing with is not only guys like Paul Mueller not catching them or Chris Johnston not catching them, you're also dealing with, in any of these tournaments, mechanical issues can come up at any time to where guys like that don't make it back to weigh-in and you sneak in. We have seen that so many times in Great Lakes events. We got to see it years ago on Lake Erie, where guys were leading events, leading Angler of the Year in points, and they don't make it back. That's why I'm saying anything can happen on a body of water like this besides just not catching them.
So if you were Morgan-Taylor, you would have risked going out there and trying for it, or
gosh,
risk
man, he was
breaking down yourself coming
He was
back
in contention for the win. You know, that's
And that's not like, oh, anyone who's fishing on the final day is in contention for a win. There's only 3, maximum 4 that have a legitimate shot
2.5
unless
or
something
so.
bad happens. So that's a different
Just
mindset.
drifting to one of my better rock piles up here for numbers. I haven't hit it yet. There's 2 piles up here, and I'm hoping we can get 1 or 2 off each.
I totally understand Chad Morgan-Taylor's thought process, because we are on back-to-back events, wanting to keep everything intact, everything working for the next event. But at the same time, there is no doubt that he was in contention for this win, where I don't know that he is now.
Something I wanted to ask you and Davey. I mean, we've got our guys who've gone to the lake today. They've got all these other additional distractions, all the things you have to deal with those waves. As you said, it's going to build through the day too. So
Yes.
you have to monitor. It's not just I can say in the morning I'm going to head back at this time. That's a sliding number. That's a fluid number there, and you have to be making those calculations all day long, right?
Well, where these guys were, you know, it was unbelievably gorgeous the last 3 days out on Lake Ontario. The guys were able to get around, fish multiple spots. We're actually going to get back right now to Chad Morgan-Taylor, but today you're very, you're penned in, and not wherever you pretty much started is where you're going to stay out on that lake.
Yeah, and if you pick a spot, you need to pick a spot that might have another spot very close by. Yeah, because you're going to have to try to hit as many, but not running.
Yeah.
Johnston's last fish came in as a 2 pound 8 ounce. He's 15 ounces behind Paul Mueller.
Wow.
Yeah, at least he wasn't a very big one.
Small one right there for Chad Morgan-Taylor. Boy, I like watching that footage out on the lake.
Oh, yeah.
It's like fishing.
It's drama.
It's the perfect storm, man.
It is. It's good stuff. Tightening up a little bit at the top there, Paul Mueller. That's 16 pounds, less than 16 pounds away from the century mark, and Chris Johnston pulling way closer. Big battle at the top of this top-heavy leaderboard. That's the story, and it's going to be the story all day long. Encouraging to see some better pictures from Chris Johnston. Maybe we'll get the same from Paul Mueller. You will see more when we come back.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key. And Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is brought to you by Humminbird, Mercury, Minn Kota, and by Talon.
Fourth day of this third stop in the regular season for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Mueller out there, the picked up the pace again. I think he's pulled another fish in. We'll try to get some footage of that for you. He's reestablished his lead over Chris Johnston. That's where the big battle is right there on top of the leaderboard. But we got plenty of interesting stories otherwise up and down the river to bring you as well. And getting his faith in the river all week long is Mississippian Brock Mosley, a good smallmouth angler. Boy, he has been really showing off with a largemouth here at our host city of Clayton.
No doubt about it. Brock Mosley, just like yesterday, just really slow and steady. Till he's kind of locked in again to his largemouth here just outside of Clayton, New York.
Thank you, sir.
He's got this new legion of fans who are watching him on TV and then come out and talking to him.
It's probably got to be different for folks when they're like, that's my doc on ESPN2.
Exactly.
What is going on? That's
hey.
good.
Stay on. He ain't as good as I thought. He ain't near as good as I thought. But anyway,
keep it right there for Brock Mosley. You know what's really weird about
to eat it though. I thought that fish was way bigger than that. A little wind helps them eat it a little better. $2 1/4.
Well, solid day so far for Brock Mosley.
There's one. Big one.
Earlier today, and what's really interesting about the area, and a lot of local anglers
come running down the dock.
ever fished here outside of French Creek Marina, fishing these boat docks, you would say to yourself, how am I not seeing these bass? As shallow as these bass are, and as clear as that water is.
People think I've just been fishing docks all week.
Especially when it's cloudy and they get away from those boat docks, you'll catch them and you'll be like, how did I not see that bass swimming that shallow? Unbelievable tournament right here for Brock Mosley. And not only that, coming into this tournament, the majority of anglers, almost all, tend to ignore the largemouth on this river for the simple fact the smallmouth are just more plentiful. We talked about that yesterday. Brock Mosley getting it done with largemouth, and amazingly, really getting it done within a half mile to a mile and a half of our takeoff.
Well, I started back chasing smallmouth for the first hour. I gave them an hour this morning and didn't have but a couple small bites. So now I'm back shallow running my program. And I've run through a couple areas I've hit already a couple of days, and I've caught a few. I got one decent one that I don't have to really get rid of today. And really, I'm just trying to cover as much water as I can, and just every day I just have to run into the right bites, and it's all about, for the most part, just covering a lot of water. And you know, there's a couple of things I'm keying on. One of them's docks, of course, but the other one is rocks and boulders. One of them's flat rock, like you see on this point, and the other one are just big round boulders. Something that gives the fish a little bit of shade, a little bit of cover, and an ambush point. But yesterday they really wasn't on that real good, because I think it had a lot to do with all the boat wake. And second, I mean, most of my on that type of structure. So that is the.
Well, Brock Mosley, one of the few who have cast their lot with largemouth, and by far the most successful at that. He's become a fixture here at Clayton, New York. People are getting to know him, and they see him every day, every hour, just about, and making a lot of friends. Is Brock Mosley out on the water?
Yeah. I told him yesterday, he was like, man, we're hungry. It's like, well, we ought to just tell the camera we want some sandwiches, maybe some of that. Look at that. Free fish.
Good service.
Good luck. Appreciate it. See there? Ask and you shall receive.
Fans bringing Brock Mosley sandwiches.
Hey, that guy must have been a largemouth fan. He's obviously, if he was a smallmouth guy, he would not have yet.
All right,
yeah,
now
exactly.
here we go. Let's get back out on Lake Ontario. Get back to the violent Lake Ontario today. See Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston cradled in between. Really, this entire tournament, great tournament. Clark Wendlandt. That gives you a good look at what these guys are going through today.
You're with us when Davey Hyde was on earlier today. He really sort of checked out all three of these. Mueller, Johnston, Wendlandt, who are going out here, definitely going out today. Checked with them on the way, said no concern on their faces. All business, just this is it. This is what you factor in.
But looking at that right there, I kind of agree with Chad Morgan-Taylor. Stay in the river and just say no.
Well, you can see that point too. Clark Wendlandt came to this tournament and he was definitely in the Bassmaster Angler of the Year race. Just took one day of fishing and all of a sudden he was there, right on top. It's been a great season for Clark Wendlandt. As Ronnie pointed out, we've seen him a lot here on Bassmaster Live, and that's a pretty good indicator that you are on track. You have got this year's lineup dialed in.
He came into this event in 7th place in the Angler of the Year points, about 16 behind the lead, and he's going to definitely leave here with the lead.
Scott Canterbury had that lead that you mentioned when we arrived here to start the first day. He's fallen down to 4th place. Struggled more than he did last year.
Amy Hartman in 3rd place is one to watch, especially where we're going next week on Lake Champlain.
We should have some graphics later in the show showing those who have top 3 guys who have helped their cause in Angler of the Year this week and the top 3 guys who really hurt their cause in the standings.
Will be interesting to see. We'll look forward to that. Thank you, Ronnie. That will be good. Mueller, boy, it's just tightening up back and forth, just like it has been all 4 days of this tournament. Mueller and Johnston.
Back and forth, man.
Boy, oh boy, what a battle. We are far from finished with this one. They intend to slug it out all day long, and we intend to bring you as much of it as we possibly can. Take ourselves a quick break, and we'll be right back.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Son gets it done. Jordan Lee, back-to-back domination, unbelievable.
Fish and win with Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter-approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid. Up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Well, the St. Lawrence River is awesome. We are going to another awesome spot. Right now, a lot of our anglers are on their way to Lake Champlain, another giant body of water that offers so many great fishing opportunities.
Exactly right. There is a lot of yum I out there, Tommy Sanders.
Boy, I'll
and
say.
I will tell you, whether you want to make a run down to Ticonderoga, flip grass for largemouth fish, real deep, clear water for smallmouth. Really, it's a pick your poison event. But really a lot like the St. Lawrence River, kind of where you decide to fish, where you commit to fishing, you're locked in there. That map looks very small. Lake Champlain, an absolute monster.
You're talking about 100 miles long and 14 miles wide in a lot of places there. It is a
That's some great tournaments.
That is for sure, absolutely. New York and Vermont on either side of there. It's going to be some great fishing. Another place that's been through the years just always a place that the anglers point to. They look forward to getting up there just for the opportunity to fish there. Anglers and fans as well. The last few years of the Bassmaster Elite Series have come to feel the same way about the St. Lawrence River.
Yes.
Oh, that population of smallmouth getting bigger and bigger, populous every year. Just an ideal place. Offers the occasional weather conditions that are a little bit more to deal with. That's what we're seeing today.
What's amazing is looking at Clark Wendland, as many years as we've known him for decades. Leading the Angler of the Year right now for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Great guy on and off the water, but you can tell what a veteran he is. Number one, yesterday he said, I don't care about the winds. I am going out to the lake. Calm, collected, slow days so far, but you can see he has played the game for a long time. Back to Micah Frazier live near Morris. Actually, a lot closer to Morristown today than he was yesterday.
One good one in the boat. 3.5 pounder.
Z, what you were worried about yesterday afternoon with Chris Johnston finishing up in a place where we had very little cell service. He caught another one there, a 4-pound, 4-ouncer. He has taken the lead with 14.5 pounds. He's about 3 pounds ahead of Mueller, who only has 3 fish.
Let's kind of dial that in a little bit if you're just joining us here on Championship Sunday. See Micah Frazier. Going to check the weight on that one right there. Solid fish for Micah Frazier, but Chris Johnston said, I'm going to lock in to that area where he ended the day yesterday with a couple big ones.
We didn't have him on camera.
We did not have him on camera, but he graphed a pile of them in that area at the end of his fishing day on day 3.
All right, I'm gonna fizz him.
Micah Frazier about to do some fish care. For those we haven't talked about it, fizzing fish is a technique that they have a swim bladder. You know how we go up in the mountains and your ears pop and it releases that pressure. Fish can't naturally release that pressure, so anglers who catch them in 30, 40, 50 feet of water have to do that, release the air, and allows the fish to calm down. Nothing's pushing on their organs and allows them to live much longer and much healthier.
Also restores their equilibrium so they can stay upright in the live well. And these guys all get good instruction on that.
I have my ears popped driving down a big hill to the lake.
You're kidding.
No.
You get a look at that shallow rock. Actually, a lot of Brock Mosley's big largemouth this week have come off that shallow rock. I guarantee you there's a lot of anglers that are like, yep, I fished that exact shoal right there for largemouth through the years.
Well, that was his plan when he finished second place here. He said that's what he had. He was dragging on the shoals. He had like 100 spots, he said, when he finished second place.
Well, guess what? He's third place now, as high as he's been so far in this tournament. He's just a long ways back of our leaders.
We talked about this actually, like day 1 when it was really, really cloudy, how shallow those largemouth will get on that shallow rock.
Really?
I mean, literally, if the water covers their back, if it is that deep, they will get up on top of that shallow slate rock.
Found Chris Johnston culled again. He only culled up 4 ounces. He got rid of his 1.5 pounder though. So he's up to 14 pounds, 12 ounces right now.
Chris Johnston's been living really with 3 different baits this entire week, and a little bit like his brother, he gets a little elusive on what he's using out here.
He gave you a little bit of the old shakaroo on on the first day is a secret to unlocking his first spot out
his
here.
exact words after the day 1 and day 2 weigh-in was, no, just tell people whatever you want. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell people whatever I want. But Chris Johnston has been throwing a drop shot, a 2 3/4 inch tube, a very small tube.
We saw that.
And other thing was he caught a lot of fish yesterday on a Ned rig out deep, where he was able to get that Ned rig down to the bottom.
That long.
That was a big weapon for him yesterday.
How is he getting the bigger fish to bite in that community area where there was 3 other guys casting to the same spots?
A lot of his game.
I've caught a few through here the last couple of days.
A lot of his game, and he didn't want to talk about this at all throughout the tournament. A lot of these areas, he is completely dead sticking his bait, getting it to the bottom where he knows these isolated rock piles are at, and just not moving it. He said, in fact, half of the bites that he's got this week, he has never felt. His rod just ends up loading up. He said the more he could dead stick his bait in this tournament, the bigger and more fish he has caught with other anglers around him.
But the current is adding action to the bait and making it look like it's alive.
Definitely, but he said that one of the keys is just keeping it, soaking it down there, and not giving it any. A lot of times you'll see guys just shaking their rod,
exactly, and
you know,
move it a
giving the
little
bait
bit.
action. Said that he goes, that was the kiss of death for him.
The fish figured out that that's not something I
They
want
get
to eat.
educated. Yeah. Brock Mosley just saw a big one there.
Read the dead
We've
stick
seen him in before.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Just make it up. Tell people whatever you want. I said, no, you can't do that. Can't do that on the Bassmaster show. No, I can make things up.
We're not encouraged to do that.
You have to do that enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Slow day for Clark Wendland.
It's 9:30. The sun's just getting up. Smallmouth are starting to see better.
It's a good point, Such. That's one thing that we've talked about all week long on our broadcast throughout this tournament. There seems to be a morning bite, a morning flurry. You get about 2 hours, a 2-hour window where they feed really, really good, and then you get that kind of 9 to 11 o'clock lull. But when that sun gets up and those smallmouth are able to visibly start feeding, the higher that sun has gotten all week, that's when we've seen some of the biggest bites throughout this event. Actually get to Taku Ito. First day of this tournament, caught most of his fish in the St. Lawrence River. Slow morning so far. A lot of his fish came in the river on day 1. Everything else out in the lake the last 2 days. Taku Ito said he'd rather fish deep than anything else. Really doesn't like being up shallow.
first keeper today. He's had a great week, though.
Tell you one thing does surprise me so far today is Brandon Polinick has spent a lot of time, an unusual amount of time in the river this tournament. Slow morning for Brandon Polinick, who's caught the majority of his fish in the river this week.
All that subject to change at a moment's notice. As Such pointed out, the sun gets higher. We've seen that change things around. Sometimes guys move a little shallower. That tends to ignite them in certain circumstances. There's Johnston, though, starting to fire it up a little bit out on Lake Ontario. Paul Mueller's going to have to play catch-up for the time being right now. We're going to take ourselves a quick break on Bassmaster Live.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
This reel allows you to cover more water, make more casts, giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo Rocket, Abu Garcia for life.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700+ training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Boy, this is it. Championship Sunday. 10 anglers left from our original 86 at the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite on the St. Lawrence River. End of the day, we will crown our champion. A lot of fishing between now and then. Our afternoon session, as a matter of fact, fires up at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That to take you all the way to weigh-in time at 3 o'clock. Right there in the city of Clayton, New York. Beautiful spot. Last time these 10 will gather here before they all head over, as we mentioned earlier, to Lake Champlain for the next stop, back-to-back in New York. In the Empire State, a great place for bass fishing. That's a leaderboard right there. Chris Johnston, Paul Mueller. Tough conditions those guys are enduring out there on the water. Of course, if you're a first time you're enjoying Bassmaster bass fishing, hey, you got to enjoy it. And the longtime fans as well, both of you need to know that if you want to enhance your your fan experience, fantasy is where it's at. And Ronnie Moore at the Screen of Knowledge to take us deeper into this week's fantasy scene.
Yes, for Rapple of Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. On the final day, we like to wrap up. Basically, there's not a bunch of movement that can be had. There's only 10 anglers, so the fantasy fishing lineups, the best ones of the week, are going to basically be locked in, give or take a few points. And I wanted to walk through the top lineup this week. Obviously, it's overstated that the best lineup is probably going to feature guys who are fishing today, and all 5 of the people are fishing today. Clark Windley, we've seen him on camera. Paul Mueller, your leader. Brandon Polinick snuck in 10th place. Corey and Chris Johnston. That is your best lineup. That is the perfect lineup. And what that equates to is about 1,431 points for the best lineup, and it can get even better. Basically, Paul Mueller has the most points possible with 300 because he's leading the event, but he's got 15 extra bonus points over here, 5 per day that you lead the event. You get extra 5 points every day you lead. He's led 3. If he leads today, that category will say 20, but another kicker here, if you have the biggest bag of the week, which Paul Mueller does, 27 pounds and an ounce, and the biggest bass of the week, 7 pounds, 13 ounces, you get 40 points per bonus points for each of those. So he could possibly have 400 points. And so the people who've picked this perfect lineup, it could get even better for them. And one thing that's very interesting is from 29th place in fantasy fishing down to about 229th, 200 people picked the exact same lineup, and they're almost 100 points behind. That is the most picked lineup, and the only difference is a guy who finished in the mid-20s versus a guy who's in the top 5 right now, and it's that big of a drop. So incremental points, every position is going to be key for fantasy fishing today, and the guys who have that perfect lineup are happy they picked those 5 guys.
All right, good fantasy outlook there from Ronnie Moore in the Screen of Knowledge, and we're getting ready to get back out on the water. And of course, if you're just picking up with us, we have a top-heavy top 10 on this final day. Chris Johnston, Paul Mueller, battling it out as they have been back and forth all week long. 99% of the time, it's been 1 and 2, either one of those 2.
Every single call that Chris Johnston's making is huge. Brad Watley hooked up live right here.
He's fishing more than 100 miles from where he's been fishing previously in this event.
Brad Watley's been running to the south shore of Lake Ontario. Tell you, looking at that fantasy fishing, tell you a little dark horse. Look, Jamie Hartman, that's going to be an obvious pick for Lake Champlain. We'll tell you one in there, Ron Moore. You are our Matthew Berry. I've said it, of fantasy fishing.
Yes, he is.
Maybe the field Yates.
Keep your eye on Brian Schmidt in that tournament next week.
You're scooping me. You're scooping. I said that yesterday.
Did you really?
At the monitor.
Oh, yeah.
It was about a 4-pounder.
I was numb yesterday. Sorry.
No, him and Austin Felix. Those 2 guys are new to fantasy fishing, and they should be good ones. As well as the guy who's been leading angler of the year, Scott Canterbury. He has a lot of experience, whether it's good or bad history on Champlain. He has a lot of experience there, and it kind of fits his style, whether it's smallmouth or largemouth.
Scott Canterbury certainly solidified his standing as a big-time favorite last year. Of course, he had a good start to his season. He arrived here and proved that he could do it just about everywhere. A lot of people were already clued into that, but what a great season it was for Scott Canterbury last year, and he came here. Boy, he almost made himself a champion on that final day.
I'll tell you, we expected Scott Canterbury to do very, very well fishing a lot of our southern waters. But when we got to Cayuga, St. Lawrence River, all the way into, this is a big one right there from Winyah Bay. I think that was probably the biggest bass that we got to see that entire event. We got to really see the versatility of Scott Canterbury, especially when we got to come north in the 2019 season.
Season long, he just made it a point to, even if he didn't get a good start the first 2 days of a tournament, he would turn it around. And right now we get a little opportunity to visit with Scott Canterbury on his way to Champlain, and B&W Trailer Hitches on the line. Scott, how are you doing right there? Sorry we're not seeing you out there today, but tell us how, take your temperature for us right now. What sort of a mood are you in, and kind of recap a little bit tougher time on the St. Lawrence this time.
Definitely had a tougher time this year. Never really got on anything much during practice. Ended up running some of the same stuff that I caught them on last year on day 1, and really struggled. The fish just weren't there. I caught a few decent ones during practice, but it was nothing like last year. And then, the second day the sun was out, and that was my plan the whole time, is to try to catch 15 pounds or so the first day and then go to the lake the second day when the sun was out and I fished shallow. I caught them pretty good. I had 20 pounds, and I power fished out there, just threw a chatterbait and a swim jig stuff, just 20-pound line, and had fun the second day.
Scott, you're one of the anglers that you think about Angler of the Year. You often hear anglers say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about Angler of the Year." Kind of dial us in about your thoughts going into Champlain. More than anything, just give us a small game plan of what you're looking for, with so many different things to choose from when you go to Lake Champlain.
I've got a little history there. I haven't been there in several years now, but anytime you go to Champlain, I think unless you go to tie and commit to Ticonderoga, I think you have to have some smallmouth mixed in your bag. So, that's the game plan. I'm going to try to figure out how to catch those 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 plus pound smallmouth. If you can figure that out and then mix in a few largemouths, you'll have a good tournament. So, that's the game plan going into it. But, it sounds easy, but like I said, I've got some history there. I've had some really good tournaments, like several good tournaments on Champlain, but looking forward to it. I got to get back on, the roll if I plan on making a run at it again this year. You can't have many of those 43rd place finishes and still have a chance at it at the end of the year.
Scott, you gave one of the most inspirational speeches when you won the Angler of the Year title last year. Said it absolutely changed your entire life. What has it been like, and what would it mean to go back to back for that title?
Oh, it would be, that would be amazing to do it back to back, or to get 2 in your career, or, multiple AOY titles. That's the one thing that, everybody wants to win a tournament or win the Classic, but that's the one thing as competitors, as us anglers, that we strive for more than anything, is that AOY title. As myself especially, I don't win a whole lot of tournaments. I just try to be very consistent, and I try to win every one of them, but if you can be the most consistent all year long, that's the biggest. It's not the biggest title, but it's the biggest title in the sport to the anglers ourselves, and it just means a lot. It would be, it was life-changing to get one for sure. The money, the financial support, and all that was great. The sponsors that come along with it, and it's added a lot to me, being able, getting recognition, and I've had a lot more opportunities to speak to people and share my experiences and everything with people of how I've done it, making a living bass fishing, and that created that opportunity for me for sure. It sort of solidified my career.
Your championship year last year, Scott, you only had one tournament where it really didn't live up to your standards, and you roared right back. Now, as you say, you're prepared to ready to pounce again and get right back at the top of that race here. Give us a prediction now. Next week at Lake Champlain, for you to be fishing there on Championship Sunday, what are you going to have to average over the first 3 days, do you think?
You got to have about 18 a day, 17 and a half to 18 a day, and you'll be in the, the top 10. You should be right there at the top 10. If the fishing's pretty good, that's what it usually takes. If you catch 15 a day, though, you'll be in about 40th place again. So there's a big difference in those 3-pounders and those 3.5-pounders at Champlain. It's a huge difference. You can't be satisfied. You can't ever be satisfied with what you got, but you definitely can't be satisfied with a 3-pound average there.
Scott, we know you take each and every tournament very, very seriously. You pointed that out very emphatically for us last year. But as you look at the rest of the schedule, as we work very hard to make up our to get in all our 8 regular season events, which one are you kind of pointing at? Which are you saying, man, I just can't wait to get there and get to work?
I just look for the next tournament every time, no matter where it is. I'm excited about a lot of them. I'm really excited to see professional bass fishing in the fall. That's my favorite time of year to fish, is fall fishing. I absolutely love it. And I would love to get some redemption on Lake Fork, and it being in the fall, that could be a good opportunity. I love a lot of the lakes. Santee Cooper, I really enjoy that lake. I've been there several times, but I've only been there in the spring. Never even thought about going in the fall. I'm sure that'll be a tough event, but those fall tournaments, if you can just figure out one little deal, it seems like you can run with it and you make and separate yourself. So I'm really excited about the entire schedule, but right now I'm just thinking about Champlain.
Mm-hmm. Scott, great stuff. Thanks for taking a little time for us and visiting with us today, our 2019
I tried to make him cry.
I
tried to make him cry right
and Ronnie's over there crying right now.
Paul Mueller caught number 4. He's only 1 pound, 5 ounces back to Chris Johnston.
Good stuff right there from Scott Canterbury, one of the powerhouses on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Look for him to have a little bit of redemption at Lake Champlain. You can kind of hear it in his tone.
Those waves make me cry, Tommy. Those waves make baby cry.
I do.
Well, I know you're dealing with a lot of issues today. You got a lot on your mind.
We all are. We all are. Very many ways.
And plus, I stepped on his foot a little while ago, and that's not helping things.
Oh.
Chris Johnston.
A little tighter.
Carving out a little bit of a lead there, and then getting caught up by Paul Mueller again. It's just back
It used to be 17 pounds from 1st to 10th. Now it's 17 pounds from 1st to 3rd.
Wow.
Wow.
2-man race right now.
Boy, it's all about the top of that leaderboard. We'll have more when we return.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key. And Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champion is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Longtime fishing fans, newcomer fans alike, we welcome you to this championship Sunday. A lot of your baseball fans as well. Well, tonight we'll have the final game. 3-game set between the Braves and the Mets. That's coming up at 7 Eastern Time tonight. And the series finale of 4. Series of 4, LA, the Giants, and the Dodgers.
It was good seeing baseball back. Had to watch
man.
the little bit different, not seeing crowds out there, but just have baseball back. Watch the Cubs game and Brewers 2 nights ago on ESPN. Really fun to watch.
Your White Sox, the first pitch of their season, went yard against them. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Come on.
Double Mr. Bunskill.
Donnie Downer over here.
Let's get back out on the water right now. Clark Wendelin with a really tough day so far, fishing between really the mouth of Lake Ontario, where it goes into St. Lawrence River and Chameau Bay. Very slow for Clark today. Hey.
Well, he knows they're there. He believes in this place. He said, there's no way I'm not going.
That is exactly where he has caught them. Days 1 through 3. From there, going to head back up to Clayton, New York, just outside of French Creek Marina. Has done most of his work all week long to perfection on largemouth with Brock Mosley with all of his fans.
Everybody friendly for the moment.
So you're having a good time anyway, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I've made a few passes through here this week. I caught a big old pike somewhere through here yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There he is. Appreciate it.
Well, he is just cheesing it up with the
I'm
locals
telling you,
here
we have got
on the
live
weekend.
fans in this sport. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
they
they'll
are
get
right
festive
there.
later today, too, trust me.
Absolutely. That's
That should
becoming
get
a
him
Clayton
up to
tradition is just gather around and the breakfast table and head on out and visit with the Mosley.
With the Mosley. Back over to Corey Johnston live.
Put Brock Mosley up in 3rd place. Stays there, it's an extra $5,000 from 4th place.
Be really interesting to see when Corey Johnston pulls the plug on this deep water gig and goes shallow. He will sometime today. Again, all of our anglers having to stay on the U.S. side of St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario.
Little guy.
Guarantee you, Corey Johnston's looked at that island to the right on the Canadian side, Wolf Island, and only has probably about 1,000 spots on that exact island.
Corey Johnston was the biggest single 5-fish limit yesterday.
After 2 19-pound bags, it was kind of like not a good event for him almost. He was sitting in the top 20, but when he comes here, he wants to be in contention to win. And we said that yesterday at the monitor. I said, if you have not caught a 20-pound bag yet, you're going to have to bust into the top 10 bags of the week to do so. And 25.8 gave him one of those bags, and it jumped him in the top 10.
One of those anglers that Corey Johnston made a long run to one of those islands out there in Lake Ontario. A lot of history, a lot of charter boats.
All right. That's the best name in the world.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. This thing to do today on that one. Try to get in a tight crack like that.
Clark Wendelet is out in the Pacific Ocean right there.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow. Uh-huh.
That's pretty big wave.
He saw that
but
one.
It really wasn't that hard getting out here. I mean, I'm glad I came. I know I got a chance to catch big ones out here, and that's what I'm looking for. I can't do any worse than 10th, but I'd sure like to do a lot better than 10th. And I know I'm in the right spot. Just got to get the big bite. That wave's big.
That is one thing that you will see in this region of Lake Ontario compared to some of the other Great Lakes. You'll see a couple of those 2 or 3 big giant rogue waves out here. You know, you'll be in 2 to 4 foot waves, which is about what you're in right here, 2 to 4 footers. And then all of a sudden there'll be just 2 or 3 giant ones that'll come funneling into these bays.
Which 2 to 4 footers aren't anything abnormal to Great Lakes. That for people just watching, that's a big wave. That's a normal wave for out here.
Normal wave.
But the big ones are double that size. Yeah.
Yes.
Clark Winlet will definitely remember this week. In short order, he took over the lead and Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Let's take a look at Clark in action out on the lake yesterday.
Hey, and what you said, Ron Moore, say that again. Taking a look at Clark Winlet yesterday, fishing out on Lake Ontario. How many days have we been with him this year on live?
I believe it's 8 out of 11. We had 3 days at day 1, or at the first event, 4 days of competition, the second event, and 4 days here. So of those 11, I believe we've been with him 8 of them.
His 16th at St. John's and then 8th at Eufaula.
I think we were with him, yeah, 3 of those days at Eufaula, and I think 2 of them at the St. John's, because the top 20 fished the final day.
Oh, he has 3 AOYs under his belt. I think he's got it. Looking at the schedule, what are his chances this year of?
I have seen Clark have unbelievable tournaments on Champlain, on St. Clair, and then we're going to a lot of bodies of water that he cut his teeth on when we get back down south later this year. The only thing is, and it was listening to Scott Canterbury, we're just going to a lot of places this year that we have not been in the fall, which to me is the best thing about the Bassmaster schedule.
A lot of guys like
the rest
that.
of the absolutely.
Written stories on that, and they're like ready to go. He's at 50. He's 54 years old. He'd be the oldest AOY winner if he were to hold on.
Yeah, it's huge, huge water. These boats can handle it though, but you just got to take your time when you're out here running. You know, you want to go to a spot and you've been running 50, 60 miles an hour. Well, 50, 60 miles an hour doesn't cut it anymore. It's more like 10 to 15 miles an hour. But you keep your nose up, and big giant waves like this, you just kind of navigate around them. They come in big sets like that, and it makes it hard to fish though. What the biggest thing that happens to you out here is a lot of times they bite really good. I've not experienced that today in this wind, but a lot of times what happens is you just can't move around. So I've been real mobile. I've been able to fish, 10, 15, maybe even more spots. Well, on a day like today, I'm going to fish about 3, maybe 4. And because I just can't go anywhere. It's not, you can't, I can get here, that's fine. Fishing's fine, but I need to catch them.
Still waiting on his first keeper to come in the boat. Started today in 3rd. He's now down to 6th place.
Surprisingly slow for Micah Frazier. I know not a lot of us were looking at Micah Frazier for the win on this final day, but he's been very, very consistent the whole week. Very slow this morning.
Well, again, one of our issues that we're looking at today, and it's a happy one, is the possibility, the potential for one of our anglers to get into the Century Club. That is, catch 100 pounds, not just a bass, but a smallmouth bass. That would be what distinguishes this particular Century Club if it gets done this time.
Exactly right. If you don't follow the Bassmaster Elite Series, that's getting over a 4-day period. That is a 5-pound average. Means every single bass basically has averaged over 5 pounds of bass. Now looking at Lake Fork, Falcon Lake in Texas, those are lakes you would think it would happen for the reason, taking a look at Brandon Cobb there last season, it is full of giant largemouth bass.
Of course, this one have the distinction of being the first ever Century Club achievement, mainly with smallmouth bass, or exclusively with smallmouth bass. It would be if either of our 2 leaders were to get there.
Look at the size of those bass right there for Brandon Cobb. 2 wins, 2019 season. Well, one of the anglers that can hit that mark that we've got our eye on, currently unofficially in first place, Chris Johnston.
Needed 25 pounds, 4 ounces today to hit 100, which would be his third biggest bag of the week. He's hit 27 pounds and he's hit 24.12.
So completely doable.
Or I was wrong on that. It's his
Got
second
some work
biggest bag of the
left.
week.
Yeah. Okay, Such, now if he does it, one of these two, Mueller, Johnston does it, will this belt look different? Since it's a smallmouth achievement.
Good point. Well
what
made.
would it look like? What color would it be?
I don't get to make them anymore, so we'll see.
Well, maybe you can start back this time around and throw us out some ideas.
Retired his bedazzler, so he doesn't make the belt.
I think it's got to look
bedazzler,
special.
don't you?
I think it's got to have lights.
Wow.
Wow.
A little pop flare,
a little
sizzle.
Yeah, maybe some sound. They make miniaturized sound cards these days.
Chris Johnston just got a little
of what Ronnie was talking about, that drag sound coming out. Yeah.
Yes, peeling some drag.
He just culled with a 3-pounder. It's up to 16 pounds today. He's over close to 91 pounds.
It's a solid one.
On his way.
And the most we've ever had in an Elite Series event at the St. Lawrence River is 95 pounds, 4 ounces, I believe. So we will probably break that even if we don't break the century mark. We'll probably set the record for this
And
late.
just lost his lead right there unofficially to Paul Mueller in the last 10 seconds. Again, we need to get a count. On how many lead changes we have had in the last 24 hours.
That was so recent with Mueller, it's not even reflected on our current lead. What if it will be?
3-pounder.
We'll get that.
Gives him half a pound
His
lead.
limit
Yes.
updated for you momentarily. On their
7
way to 100 pounds. Who's going to get there? Maybe both of them get there. Got a lot more coming on the way.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Introducing the Bass U TV app. Get the most out of your Bass U TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bass U TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bass U TV app. Never stop learning.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Big time battle at the top of the leaderboard at this championship Sunday, and all of these guys, all 86 who are out there in the Bassmaster Elite Series, striving so hard to do well, to pick up points so you can qualify for this right here. Coming up, the 2021 Bassmaster Classic, the Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic, the World Championship of Fishing, coming to Lake Ray Roberts, not too far from Fort Worth, and of course Fort Worth will serve for the first time ever as our host city, the Dickies Arena. It's where it's all going to go down. The single most important event in all of fishing, not by a little, but by a lot. It's the World Championship, the Bassmaster Classic. Get it on your mind. Make plans. There's some way you can get there, and that would be a great place to land. The third week of March. Paul Mueller, Chris Johnston. That's the battle we're talking about. The top of that leaderboard. Back and forth. Chris Johnston has taken over the lead. Paul Mueller started with it today. Mueller's got it back right now. And man, oh man, let's take a look at his tournament so far. Paul Mueller, man, has risen to the top tier, no doubt about it, in the sport of bass fishing in a very short time.
No doubt about that, Tommy Sanders. And really, it's predominantly been done in one general area in the mouth of Chameau Bay, where Chameau Bay comes out into Lake Ontario, and not tremendously deep. Call it 20 to 25 feet of water. A couple of them a little bit deeper than that, or a little bit shallower, but that's been the predominant depth range. Berkeley Max Scent Flatworm on a drop shot. And just another thing about that Berkeley Max Scent Flatworm, it is attested to a lot of fish in our top 10 in this event. And really what he's done is found small rock piles in this general area, basically about 50 to 100 yards apart. Another angler that did a lot of work in this exact area throughout this tournament, Chris Johnston.
Added to all of that, Paul Mueller executing just flawlessly throughout the course of this tournament. That's something you have to do if you want to win a big tournament like this.
Yep.
Such great poundage of smallmouth bass.
One of the things that we noticed Paul Mueller doing throughout this tournament, getting off of these fish. So many of these anglers want to get over top of them, look at them on their graph, drop down, fish vertical. Paul Mueller said one of the biggest keys in this tournament, stay off of them, about 20 to 30 feet. That's how a lot of those giants have come into his boat.
Yeah, he has to work on his drop shot setup to do that, because the more horizontal your presentation gets, the more you bring in the muscles into play there that can cut your line.
And really, if there was one common theme in this tournament for a lot of those bigger stringers, there are those long tapering points feeding into Lake Ontario. A lot of fish getting done spawning, heading out to the main lake. Guys like Paul Mueller, Clark Wendelet, Chris Johnston, exactly what they focused on. These aren't points that come 100 yards offshore. These are points that taper miles into Lake Ontario.
Seemed to have a little bit of a shallower look to all of his spots that he visited yesterday, or had success on. Paul Mueller, the former Bass Nation champion from Connecticut, the Nutmeg State. Of course, the Bass Nation, Connecticut is the Nutmeg State. You knew that.
The Nutmeg State?
The Nutmeg State.
Never heard that one.
Right?
Never heard that in my life.
Check it out.
You talking about the nut, or are you talking about the soccer move? What?
He is a man. He is a complete fisherman. He lives and breathes it. Boy, he's shown his expertise last season, picking up his first win on Lake Lanier.
You follow Paul Mueller on social media, you know Paul Mueller lives his life in his boat. Everything he posts is about a technique. It's about his electronics. This tournament right here in 2019, Lake Lanier, a lake we were definitely looking at him. Chris Zaldain, great deep water fisherman from there earlier this season. St. John's River, kind of one that he was very under the radar on our championship Sunday.
Did it in an unprecedented way as well, going north of Palatka to St. John's River, somewhere we haven't seen him in the past.
His mission, obviously, this season is to hog as many of the victories as possible. Today, if he could close it out here on Ontario, then that would be 2 out of 3 possible opportunities.
Very bad service on Lake Ontario right now with Paul Mueller hooked up live. Boy, and he is sitting in one of the roughest places on this northeast side of Lake Ontario. Where it funnels in to Chameau Bay, it growls. Every ounce counts right now. Trading blows with Chris Johnston throughout the event, but especially yesterday and today.
Those two within ounces as it stands right now. It's not a bad one. Should have held like that.
Getting a little bit bigger. Coal anyway.
Extend his lead a little bit right there with that good keeper for Paul Mueller there. He's got his limit for a little while now. Let's get back into the river, not too far from the mouth. Taco-ito.
Man, Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston have really pulled away from the pack.
Yeah.
This is fish number one.
Does not have one in his live well.
Got it.
I didn't have it yet, so. The Italian Z, Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston have switched back and forth 10 times, 8 times yesterday and twice today.
Wow.
Lead changes.
I try in a shallow side, so I can bite. So all the time I try in the deep side, no bite. But shallow side is a fish here.
Ito, 20 pounds plus each and every day. First 3 days so far. Started the day in 7th place.
A lot harder to fight these fish on. Taku Ito made the comment yesterday, fishing a lot of 6-pound line.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Good one. But I don't know, so 3.5? Maybe.
He says 3.
Oh, I'm happy, so. Oh. long time. So today's a no bite. But I'm happy, so I caught. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's a 3.5.
That's a strong 3 right there.
Plus about 3/4 or so. Yeah.
Let's go. Only a 5 bite. Bab's best fish kit, so.
Oh, that's, it took a while, but that's the way to get it started with a giant like that.
Really good one right there for Taku Ito. Said he will live deep all day long in the St. Lawrence River. Solid fish right there. Been drop shotting pretty much the entire week. They're taking a look right now. Interesting. See Chad Morgan-Taylor going for some largemouth right around French Creek Marina. Actually a little canal just outside of French Creek Marina. Know that spot right there makes a fork. Corey Johnston going shallow for smallmouth out on the river. Boy, where you see Chad Morgan-Taylor, it's probably one of the most popular largemouth spawning canals within 10 miles east or west on the river. About a month ago, there are so many fish in there.
Combed it off.
Miss right there for Chad Morgan-Taylor.
Well, it's good to know that it doesn't differentiate for me. It's either largemouth or smallmouth. Either one come off. That gummit.
Jamie Hartman said that yesterday on stage. He said he's one of the best anglers up here. He said he lost 2 or 3 each day of competition. Yesterday he lost 13 fish.
Wow.
Who
said that?
6, Jamie Hartman.
Wow.
5 or 6 of them being good ones.
How you doing? I'm all right. I just lost one underneath your dock there.
Oh yeah, there's a few down there.
There always is, ain't there?
Yeah.
Well, have fun with them. I'm gonna leave them for you, or that one anyway.
Well, I got a little news on Brock Mosley. We didn't have cell coverage in his area, but he's landed a 4-pound, 4-ouncer. There it is. It's kind of sketchy. Got almost 13 pounds today.
Got an update about Lake Champlain. Our next stop on the Elites is when we come back from commercial break.
All right, we will look forward to that. Brock Mosley is high up the leaderboard as he has been during the course of this tournament, but unfortunately, boy, he has got a mountain that's probably too big to climb. Paul Mueller, Chris Johnston, back and forth, top of the leaderboard. These two guys, one of them will hold the trophy at the end of the day. Which one, or both, with 100 pounds? Got a lot more fishing to find out.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
So much Bassmaster history at the St. Lawrence River. Thousand Islands days fishing for mostly largemouth back in the day. Clayton, New York, what a great place. And the Antique Boat Museums have been a big part of this tournament, as a matter of fact, in terms of having facilities, lending a hand with the volunteers there. It does take a lot of community help to get one of these things going, and we take our hat off to the Antique Boat. I got to go there, man. Look at those boats. My goodness,
the history of the motors and trolling motors. Holy cow!
Fun place to hang, really, from Clayton to Alexandria Bay. Just a really, really cool place to hang in the summertime.
Beautiful, been a destination for great summer days for a long, long time, and we have had 3 and change great summer days out here. Today's a little more challenging.
I say the summertime because I always watch the weather up there in the wintertime.
Exactly.
We've stayed in that area, and you look at the pictures from the places you stay in the wintertime, and you can hardly recognize them. It gets a little snowy up there, actually.
It does. From there to Watertown, Watertown really gets cracked pretty hard, too. I did not think we would see this on the final on Championship Sunday. 2 guys largemouth fishing. Did not see that double box.
See, I don't
in
know
our
what
top
the
10,
guys,
right?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what the guys on Ontario are complaining about.
right.
It doesn't look windy at all right there.
Yeah, that's another planet there.
We've caught a few.
Is that dog that jumped in now?
Is that one of the 2 that jumped in yesterday?
No.
Yeah. He's been in today.
Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teased it up. Lake Champlain, that's where our next stop is. Next Thursday through Sunday, we will be back with another Elite Series event. They have a big tournament trail out of Champlain. Oh, he's hooked up right now. Just a second.
Yeah.
Boy, he might not win this tournament, but he has done. He has mined this for everything it's worth.
That's an upgrade. There's a whole row of docks that way and that way. So if they're on this stretch, we're gonna have. There are fish through here. We got plenty of stuff to fish. Make sure I call the right one.
Something we've definitely seen with Brock Mosley. The higher that sky gets and these fish position on these boat docks, generally the bigger the ones that we've seen him catch throughout this tournament.
3-pounder.
We're with him the last couple of days. He's catching them steady as anybody all day long.
Pound and a half call there for Brock.
And that's a pretty good call. I mean, it ain't no giant call, but it's well over a pound, so. Yeah. Man, just keeping it simple, just a Z-man jackhammer. And like I said, I hadn't fished this stretch all week, not practice, not tournament, nothing. And a local that's following me today, he said that he's been living here 20-something years and never fished this stretch. You know, I'm just trying to fish new water, and I'm catching them on that side over there. So I wanted to see if there was anything over here, and I mean, I just got to this bank, and I mean, there's docks a mile that way and a mile that way. So if there's fish over here, we'll have plenty of stuff to hit. You're on ESPN, by the way.
Way to shower for that.
Very nice people.
Yeah.
Very nice dock owners.
Skeeter boats
Sometimes
taste
we don't
the
see
bait.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Your skeeter boats taste the bait, Tommy Sanders. And one of the really interesting things about what Brock Mosley's done, he's expanded on this largemouth deal every single day, but he is fishing a set of boat docks that is usually the stopping point for a lot of our anglers that have come into French Creek Marina and other tournaments that have gone out of Clayton, New York. It's just a spot where you stop and usually skip a boat dock or two if you need one, if you need a 2.5 or a 3 pounder throughout the years. I guarantee you there's guys watching this.
Just to fill your limit.
Just to, yeah, but that being
got a
said.
minute on your way back in.
That being said, throughout the years, guys have fished those stretches, and it is a very consistent 13 to 16 pound gig doing that, but seeing the 4 to 6 pounders that Brock has caught this week. The other thing about that Skeeter boat, Taste the Bait, he is fishing a bladed jig where we look at Chad Morgan-Taylor fishing very slow. He's fishing a bladed jig, and that bladed jig is a lot faster. You're not throwing a bait out, bouncing down the bottom. It is a law of averages. Put as many boat docks under your belt throughout the day. The law of averages, you're going to collide with 5 good ones. Exactly what Brock Mosley has done.
Yeah, yesterday Brock told us essentially the same thing. He said, look, I'm going to get faster and faster as the day goes on. I'm trying to cover as much water as possible, unless you think that he's just fishing for largemouth because that's all he knows. No, he's an accomplished smallmouth fisherman as well. Just that's his choice this week.
And in proximity, you look at Chad Morgan-Taylor, who said he had a largemouth area, and his largemouth area is basically right where Brock Mosley is, because Brock Mosley is right over his shoulder on the screen that you're looking at right there.
I was mentioning the next stop on the Elite's Champlain next week. Had a big tournament out of there yesterday, and Brian LaBelle, someone who's won a Bassmaster Open there in our semi-pro series, 26 3/4 to win with a 6-pound largemouth.
Wow.
24 3/4 was second with a 5-pound largemouth. It went all the way down out of 30 boats. The top 14 all had over 20. And basically, the top 20 all had 18 pounds. So it should be a good week next week.
It's good news right there. Just adding a keeper is Micah Frazier just moments ago.
Good one.
Yeah, that's
Micah Frazier.
Real one. A little slow for Micah, as you mentioned, Z, today. He's generally been the most regular fish catcher out here past couple of years, just like clockwork, all day long. You see the story right at the top of the leaderboard. The names Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston swapping out for that top spot, and whoever lands on that at the end of the day, we get to weigh-in time, is the one who will hold the trophy.
And this has been the time of day where you start to see Johnston and Mueller, where they start playing volleyball again with each other on the leaderboard. Be right back with Bassmaster
Live.
Oh.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new tour grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
Fish and win with Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
This reel allows you to cover more water
make more casts, giving you more opportunities to catch more fish. The new Revo rocket, Abu Garcia for life. You're watching the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Yeah, Bassmaster Live. And attention, everyone, tonight. Major League Baseball will have the final game of a 3-game set between the Braves and the Mets. That's at 7 Eastern. Then the series finale of 4 games in Los Angeles between the Giants and the Dodgers. Both games on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Feels like summer now with MLB. Beautiful summer place here, of course.
Whoa. Hey, now.
It can be dramatic as well.
Hey, you know, I made the comment, are we going to see anybody go shallow out on Lake Ontario? I'm going to go with you. Ready? No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Copy that. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. It's lively out there.
Get back to our French Creek Marina takeoff there in Clayton, New York. Chad Morgan-Taylor. Slow day so far for Chad.
Yeah, had 3 big days out there on the Lake Ontario, and just decided against that today.
Well, there's been a lot of bass caught off that boat dock and that seawall through the years, right outside of a little canal.
Boy, there are some nice places on the water up here. It's a good spot for a bath.
There's one. Finally. Nothing big, but number 2. Go in there with your buddy, Mr. Smallmouth.
Been a while between 1 and 2 for Chad Morgan-Taylor.
Wow, getting a look at Paul Mueller. Been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Just bottle whatever signal we have right now with him and let's just watch him.
Nobody move.
See cameraman Eric Kafka hiding in the bottom of the boat.
No, he's standing up completely. See,
I thought he was.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Big hats off to our Bassmaster cameramen. Guys that are in the boats, all the still photographers that have been out there all week long.
Earning their money today for sure,
no
except
doubt about
the plum assignment today was Jason Heathcote with Brock Mosley all day long, just kind of tootling around, enjoying life, getting the sandwiches delivered and everything.
Or whoever Chad Morgan-Taylor's camera man is that
breathe a sigh of relief.
Like, thank you for not going out there.
I mean, I could double it up, but I you know what? It's not like I'm.
Had one cameraman discover what seasickness is like.
Yep, I had heard that.
Never fun. Never fun.
No.
Had a final day like this in a Bassmaster Open, Peely Island, Lake Erie, out of Sandusky.
Oh, looky there. That's what's been breaking me off. All right, so update on the day is it is rough out here. Kind of hard to fish, but I've been able to catch 5. I got one of the right ones. I'm seeing them. You know, it's just tough. It's just got to try to make the right drifts. Can't really
you know, fish or anything. You just got to go with the waves. So just need a couple good ones. You know, I think if I can catch 20 pounds on a day like today, I think that's going to be pretty good, just given how tough it is out here. So that's my goal, 20 pounds, couple more big bites. You never know. I mean, they're out here, so it's just I got to get it in front of one.
Really, that's exactly what the conditions were like on practice for a lot of our anglers last Sunday and Monday out on Lake Ontario. Well, as much as we can hang with Paul Mueller, we're gonna...
Yeah, those pictures were great. I love that.
Try to stay with him.
It's gonna be in and out and dodgy, but man, we'll take everything we can get. Gotta figure as he figures in his time to get back, he's probably got maybe not much more than 4 hours, but that's plenty of time to get it done.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Getting word that Champlain event that I said might have been a 6-fish limit, but that is a bummer.
That's another buzzkill, right?
That is another buzzkill. But that means the winning team did have 5 for 20.
Yeah, over 20.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because they had 26 and change.
Well, Zeke, what was your anticipated winning weight in this event coming in? I mean, the way the anglers were talking, I put it in the mid-80s.
I went 88 pounds. Usually, if you're
22 a day.
If you're at 22 a day, you're going to be somewhere around that.
Kind of over right now.
Yes,
we may beat 2 years ago the 95.3.
That Corey Johnston said he thought that 21 pounds a day, and he was being straight up. He thought 21 pounds a day would win this tournament, which would have put you at 84, which would have been one of our lowest weights.
Just had a little one come out and nip at it.
Great.
Again, fantasy-wise, to talk about expectations for this tournament, Ronnie, what kind of action did Paul Mueller get in fantasy?
20 over 22%.
Okay.
He was
big number. Big number.
The second most picked person in bucket B, I believe.
Really?
It might have been, I think Stetson Blaylock was in that bucket and Hank Terry. Stetson Blaylock had 25%.
Little guy. I'll take him right now.
You notice how different Chad Morgan-Taylor and Brock Mosley are fishing these boat docks right around Clayton.
I'll put your fish back here just shortly, I promise. I just caught one of your fish. I'll put him back just shortly. Oh, that's a good deal. I'll try.
They're the nicest
They are
dock
on
owners.
board with bass fishing here in Clayton.
They don't live on my lake.
No.
Sorry, it's a
Springfield,
shot.
Missouri.
People are protective
Branson
of their
area.
A little bit.
fish under their docks.
Not today. No, not today. I'm going to keep trying, though. They had a 713 smallmouth. That's a big one. I had a 5.8 yesterday, but I may have just caught him. Did he have teeth? Because I just caught a big pickerel.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It's probably a carp. Now, this is a grandson who's now 15, but he's 3.
So he likes to fish?
Oh my God, they live in Florida.
Oh, I love to fish in Florida.
Parties, forget the birthday party.
Hey, you're on ESPN too right now.
Doing her own show.
And he would go to birthday parties and forget the birthday party. All he'd do is fish.
Oh.
And now he fishes before he goes to school. He fishes when he comes home, and then he fishes again
Fantastic. Tell him to keep it up.
Turbine is the big thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's the nicest lady ever.
Oh,
friendly folks. Where's your sandwich?
Chad agreed heavily. I like fishing in Florida. Chad's got a couple wins in the state of Florida.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. Paul Mueller with the upper hand for now. Out there on the water. We got some more fishing in our morning session coming up. Chris Johnston, a little bit of a deficit. Brock Mosley, all the rest of them, well, they're going to stay in the background a little bit, but they've all got great stories, and we'll be following all of them. We'll get back to it here in just a moment after this break.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key, and Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Berkeley, Nitro Boats, and by Ranger Boats.
Got started early today, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. An hour earlier, we're going to wrap up our morning session here in a few minutes, but we'll be back. The afternoon session begins at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to bring you the fishing, taking you all the way up to weigh-in time. That's 3 p.m. on Championship Sunday. And it is, as we say, a heavyweight or knockdown drag out at the top of the leaderboard right now. Those two right there, back and forth, first and second all day long. Many, many lead changes already today. And, of course, you want to be the one with the biggest 4-day total at the end of the day. That's the way these tournaments work. And you get a 5-fish limit every day.
And when you look at this, it looks like Paul Mueller's losing to Chris Johnston, but he came into the tournament, into the final day with a 2-pound and change lead, so he has that slack to let Chris Johnston, fill the gap if he needs to.
We ask anybody, this guy was definitely one of the odds-on favorites coming in.
One of the things that we talked about a little bit earlier, Such, was, listen, the first 2 days of this tournament, Chris Johnston just outfished the competition around him. He had probably 3 or 4 competitors, not within 100 yards. They were within probably 30 feet of Chris Johnston. The first 2 days of this event, Chris Johnston just beat the competition down just off Carlton Island. But it's when he made his way into Lake Ontario where he started to make giant, giant calls. And almost every single day, Chris Johnston in this tournament has really been done fishing right around noon to where he could practice and prepare for this last day. And he said that he would live in one general region of Lake Ontario today. He would get there, bunker in, and that's what we've seen him do today.
Just a great game planned, exactly like Paul Mueller. Both of them have it planned out to all the long game, all the way to the end of this tournament. Today's conditions, of course, have altered it a little bit, but man, can't argue with the success of these two guys. It's just been so far above and beyond.
Funny looking at all this footage, you see a bass like that, and that is probably the smallest bass that we have seen Chris Johnston catch this week, relying on a drop shot, a Ned rig, and a small 2 3/4 inch tube.
Signal yesterday and today, Lake Ontario, very vast place.
Almost seems like we said this, watching Chris Johnston and Paul Mueller in this heavyweight battle. It's like you're watching a replay, but these guys have put so many 4 to 5 pound bass on the scale this week. Really, both of them, before today, if they hooked a 3.5 to 4 pound bass, literally would just discard it and not even fight with
Solid one. They know, and just like as every champion here has told us, it's not so much a pattern, it's about landing in the right place, the right stretch of water. It produces them just a little bit bigger. In the case of these two guys, obviously just a lot bigger. You look at their margin ahead of the rest of the field. Let's take you back to last year. First 3 days, Chris Johnston dominant. Trying to win this thing wire to wire when we get to day number 4.
And doing something totally different last year on the St. Lawrence River, fishing up near Ogdensburg. We really didn't see him pass 10 feet of water the entire tournament. Mining shallow water smallmouth, and on the last day still caught 20 pounds and just ended up getting beat. Very consistent throughout the entire event.
Last year, as this year, he was pretty much the favorite coming in, along with his brother Corey. Lots of fans over from Canada. Some of them invited personally by Dave Mercer to come over and beef up the crowd, as if the crowd needed beefing up at Waddington. Man, oh man, great crowds at Waddington.
On the drop shot, just
we do miss that.
And that's the battle that we're going to show you the rest of the day after we come back from our midday break. Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston really fighting. Every single ounce will count by the end of the day today.
And our afternoon session starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to see the final 2 hours of fishing, be with us then.
And really can't stress enough. The reason they're at this point, the reason
he was hooked pretty good.
Those weights are so astronomical. Mother Nature was just unusually kind to these anglers that ran out to the big lake days 1 through 3.
That's the right kind.
To get 3 days in a row where it's not like today is very, very rare on this part of Lake Ontario.
Didn't even look that big.
Gosh, huge smallmouth.
Now we're getting there.
Paul Mueller making all the right moves.
Oh, no.
He could go deep. He went deep when he needed to go shallow.
That's how you start the morning, baby.
Go to the right place.
And the difference right now is that 7 pound, 13 ounce.
Oh gosh.
Big bass of the week.
That's a very good point.
He's in the motor.
Yep.
I mean, they're all catching
He's
5
still there,
pounder,
dude.
5 pounder.
Oh boy. He's not big. Yeah, that's what I thought. One of them spunky ones. Oh.
Done a great job of telling us pretty much blow by blow how he's doing it too.
Thank you, Jesus.
Always been great at that.
Yes. All right, let's see what that.
And I'll tell you, we've had a lot of tough service today with Paul Mueller and Chris Johnston. Whenever we've got a picture of them, we've got out on Lake Ontario. You got to give it up to Paul Mueller though. does not have a lot of experience at all on Lake Ontario compared to Chris Johnston, who literally has grown up on this water.
All right. It'll be a little scratchy, but to take it out live, Paul Mueller, he's hooked up right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's not stressful.
Yeah, it's tossing and turning out there.
Getting fish in the mouth of Chameau Bay.
Thank you, Lord.
Tough to see, but that is another really solid one from Mueller.
You can hear him exhale when he grabbed it.
Yeah, that was the clue.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Be a good cull. He's got a 212 in the live well, so Paul Mueller opening up a little bit of space between himself and Chris Johnston.
Chris Johnston is just like this X factor we really don't know about right now.
Yeah.
Taku Ito. River's starting to get a little bit unfriendly.
Yeah, it's not like a total picnic out there.
Not really.
Yeah.
Mueller's fish was a 4-pounder. He put it in Bass Track, our app that monitors the fish catches. As a 4-pounder, he's up to 17 pounds, 12 ounces today, and just a couple ounces shy of 95 pounds.
Watching Taku Ito. You look at it's hard to say, but you look at those top two weights of Mueller and Johnston. Gosh, if you catch 90-something pounds in this tournament and do not win, you don't win the event. Here's point blank, you just got beat. You got beat. And again, I give Paul Mueller a lot of credit. He was actually, very vocal. He said, I don't know a lot about this place. I don't really enjoy fishing in the river. I don't like the current. The lake feels more comfortable to me. But he said, I have so little experience out on Lake Ontario except for ice fishing. That's where
the question, he's an electronics guru, and you say they're marking fish, but then the smallmouth move every day. So are you marking a spot where fish hang out? What's, when he goes there?
If you watch the track of Paul Mueller the first 3 days of this tournament, he's really bunkered in to one general vicinity and just picked it apart. But it's also a highway. That area of the mouth of Chameau Bay is a highway where there are fish constantly moving out, moving in, moving shallow, moving deep, and he's intercepted anything that has come by. But that is, for a lot of our local anglers, that mouth of Chameau Bay historically has been one of the best deep water. There's a reason Chris Johnston was 700 yards away from him half of this event.
That's important.
Good long battle for Taku Ito there.
That is a powerful, I think, a big fish. But not big. But it's okay. I'm happy, so. I think a 4-pounder. Yeah.
So much more pleasant right there.
Oh, yeah.
Really
Although
is.
Taku Ito, happy all day. Nothing gets him happy, no matter where he is.
Size ain't what that was. It is not.
Chad Morgan Taylor say the size isn't quite what
It's
they were.
number 4.
It's because
I'll take him.
Brock Mosley's weighed most of them in.
Yeah. It's been.
Good job to all of our anglers today that have battled the elements.
Yeah, our anglers and our camera guys
Yes.
out there getting
No
beat
doubt
up pretty
about it.
good, but we are indeed grateful. Every shot we've been able to get from out there. That's Corey Johnston.
Hey, we're going to have a couple hours and stockpile some fish catches and really watch that battle at the top. Chris Johnston, Paul Mueller, rest of our top 10 here on Championship Sunday.
Live mix should be around, I believe.
Yes.
You know,
For the
you
2
check
hours,
out the
right,
Bassmaster
for
live
sure.
mix.
All the cameras will be rolling throughout the 2 hours, so we won't miss anything. We'll come back. Something that needs to be seen, we will see it.
Those final 2 hours are going to be historic, possibly 100 pounds for those top 2 anglers. Someone could catch 100 pounds today and not win the event.
Somebody could, exactly right, have the best smallmouth day of their life, week of their life, and lose.
We'll be back 1 p.m. Eastern Time with the last 2 hours of this day.